Visit citroen.ie.
The perfect Easter outing for the whole family awaits as you hop on board the Easter Express for Donegal's biggest Easter hunt at Oakfield Park. Arrive to a welcome from your favourite characters before taking a train journey through the magical forest, stopping off at the home of the Queen of Hearts to enjoy some cracking games and get ready to discover the golden eggs. Book now at oakfieldpark.com for a fun-full day at Donegal's biggest Easter hunt.
Oh God! Good morning to you. Do you ever be sneezy, coffee, and all that kind of stuff?
I thought Donald sneezed during the news there. Well, I remember reading years ago that apparently you can't sneeze when you're live on radio. So,
yeah, that's a joke.
No, that's what I heard. I'm not sure.
Nah,
if it's true or not.
if you got to sneeze,
have you ever sneezed on radio?
Probably did. I wanted to sneeze during.
You must have been plucking your eyebrows, were you?
No, well, you see, that's. Oh, you listened to that? No, I was only joking about that. Come here, another busy show. Bishop Alan McGukian's coming on today.
Yeah, he's coming on in the first hour of the programme.
Lovely, so
obviously, there was a function for him last night.
Big man.
He's been on the show quite a bit, very accessible, and he's moving on. So looking forward to having a conversation with
nice
Bishop, who'll be hard to replace.
I know, and that's going to take some time as well, isn't it?
I'm not sure how that.
I think it is a long.
Of that work,
well, listen to our local priest. He was saying, it's can be tough.
Well, I'll ask the bishop, with all due respect to your local priest. Who's your local priest?
Father McKeever.
Father McKeever.
Father McKeever. Who's your local priest? And let's not go down this route, will we?
Well, I have a couple, so.
Yeah, I know. It's you are in different parishes, aren't you, sometimes? You do a bit of travelling. You're the travelling man, aren't you? Come here, how did your computer come yet?
Yeah.
I was thinking about you.
I can't talk about it now, but it's amazing.
Right, okay.
It's amazing.
Is
€220.
How long does it last? I want to check in.
The battery, I left it on the battery last 7 hours and there was still.
Daddy, it's only out of the box. It's going to last 7 hours.
Of course it is. There's only a limited amount of cycles in any laptop battery. I think it's like 1,700 cycles.
Right.
But it's a fully functioning Windows 11 laptop for €220.
Right, okay. Look at you all chuffed with yourself. You're going to be so disappointed when smoke comes out of it.
It might blow up.
I know it might. No, I hope it doesn't. But anyway, we'll check in with you.
It is always best to shop local, though. In case it does. Excuse me.
Yes. Oh God Almighty! Here we go.
That wasn't a sneeze. It was.
Do you want me to take over from the show today?
In case it does blow up, shop local.
Right. You better get on that. Michaela's smiling. She's saying, "Come on, boys. Enough of this chit chat."
Thanks, Leo.
Have a good show. Right. Bye.
Take care of yourself. Okay. The 9 till noon show just around the corner. After the news headlines now from our good friend Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. Almost €120,000 worth of suspected cannabis has been seized in South Donegal. 6 kg of the drug was found yesterday during follow-up searches conducted by Garda in Ballyshannon on foot of the discovery of a grow house in Donegal town last week. The find brings the estimated total of drugs seized to €751,500 after over €630,000 worth of suspected cannabis was seized during last Wednesday's operation. The North Sea Economy Minister says he will do all he can to ensure increased investment in the North West City region, but told the Assembly there are other regions that feel equally left behind. Responding to questions from Foyle MLA Sinead McLaughlin, Minister Conor Murphy said the Executive will do what it can, but some decisions, including that of where to locate investment zones, will be down to the UK Government. Ms McLaughlin said the idea of an investment zone in the North West would be proof of the Minister's stated aim of achieving regional balance.
Will you commit today to ensuring that the British Government places any investment zone in the North West City region, because that would demonstrate your ambition for regional balance?
The decision in relation to investment zone is a matter for the British Government, but what we want to do is ensure that what we can do in effect policy here is to make sure that there is regional balance.
New figures show town centres need help as the number of vacant commercial property stands at its highest rate since records began. A study by GeoDirectory shows the average number of vacant commercial units stood at 14.35% at the end of last year, up 0.3% on the previous quarter. The commercial vacancy rate in Donegal has risen to above the national average to 18.2%. Ballybofey continues to have the highest commercial vacancy rate in the county at 29.4%, while Bundoran had the lowest at 12.7%. Action plans transforming one town centre in every county are set to be unveiled by the Minister for Social Protection, Heather Humphreys, tomorrow. GeoDirectory CEO Dara Keogh says schemes like Town Centre First policy are vital to making sure vacancy rates don't slip further.
So you can see in somewhere like Edgeworthstown and towns around the country like that,
there are rooms for government schemes, as the Minister, you said, the Minister would be announcing, that would help re-energise the centre of towns, because they need to become, I suppose, more than just a destination for function, as something that you go to have an experience and to enjoy and pleasure, rather than just go to do a single job.
And for weather now, rain clearing this morning, followed by well scattered showers and sunny spells. Highest temperatures of 8 or 9 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for now. We'll be back with news again at 10 o'clock. Until then, good morning.
Not sure how to celebrate St. Patrick's Day? Make someone's day on the 17th of March. Bake them a non-birthday cake. Cut your neighbour's grass. Or share your favourite Cadbury chocolate bar. What's more Irish than that? There's a glass and a half in everyone. Cadbury.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, a very good morning to you. You're very welcome along to the 9 till noon show here in Highland Radio. It's 5 minutes approaching 6 minutes past 9 on this Tuesday, the 27th of February 2024. And we want you to stay tuned, as we always do every day here on the show. Coming up very shortly, Bishop Alan McGukian will be joining us in studio for a conversation. So I'm sure many of you will be interested in that. A little later on, we have Community Garda Information, where you hear the latest appeals and information from An Garda Síochána first across the Northwest here. We also have what will be, I'm sure, an interesting conversation with a listener about a process of cancer diagnosis that's a word for warning and well worth listening to. That's throughout the course of the next 3 hours. You can listen to the show, as the absolute majority of you do, and it's great to have you on board. But if it suits your lifestyle and where you are, you can watch the programme as well on your smart TV or your Fire Stick. We're on the YouTube app, Highland Radio Ireland. Just type that in and click the watch live, or it's live, you'll see it anyway. You can take us across your mobile devices on that app, as well as Facebook on Highland Hub, Highland News and Sport, and we're on X as well for our sins. Okay, 086 60 25 5,000, the WhatsApp and text number for you to get involved in the conversation. Let us have a quick run through the newspapers this morning. The Irish Times this morning: Ukrainian refugees urged to return for war effort. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba, beg your pardon, I can't actually read that. It's been folded right where his name is. I should know it off the top of my head. Kuleba has urged compatriots abroad to think about going home to help the war effort, as Kyiv seeks to draft fresh troops into the army and strengthen an economy ravaged by the 2 years of all-out war with Russia. We respect the individual choice of every person, but we also encourage all Ukrainians who have left the country since the beginning of the full-scale invasion to consider the option of returning home, he said in an interview with the Irish Times. We understand that some people might not have such a choice because of health or other private issues, but those who have a choice are welcome to come back and help Ukraine fight and survive with their direct personal contribution. Mr. Kuleba thanked Ireland for giving refuge to more than 100,000 Ukrainians and said the country would always remember this overwhelming Irish solidarity. 31,000 Ukrainians have died in the war so far, and many commentators believe that to be a conservative effort. But the Ukrainian foreign minister is asking Ukrainians to return home, I presume, dependent on their status, either to fight in the war or to help rebuild the economy of the country as well through work and what have you. An interesting interesting comment from him there. The Irish Independent, Media Minister Catherine Martin's plans to abolish the TV licence, well, it's under threat as support for the under fire minister dwindles across government. I don't think that Catherine Martin is going to survive this controversy, and I think there's many more besides her that will end up falling at a hurdle over this controversy. It depends on how she performs this evening, but I just don't see how she can continue. A number of senior coalition figures said the minister's performance during the RTE scandal has weakened her hand as she drafts plans to ditch the licence fee and introduce direct exchequer funding for the national broadcaster. Ms Martin is even facing a backlash within the Green Party over her role in the shock resignation of RTE board chair Siún Ní Raghallaigh, or Rahala as some pronounce her name. there is a nervousness among some coalition ministers over the potential for further revelations to emerge over the week, which will put more pressure on the already damaged minister. One Fianna Fáil minister said Ms Martin has always been behind the ball on the RTE scandal and has never demonstrated an ability to be out in front of it despite several opportunities. Though I suppose she might argue that she has been asking the right questions of the former chair of the board and was not given the right answers, not the correct answers, and she said that publicly. And do we want this stuff done behind closed doors? I'd prefer if the answers were given publicly. And now she's being, I don't think sometimes you can't win either way. You know, she was answering the questions as honestly as she could based on information she was given by Miss Ní Raghallaigh, and now she's being criticised for being honest. The Irish Daily Mail, Catherine Martin was not kept in the dark by RTE on exit packages, TDs have said, ahead of the media minister's 3-hour grilling by an Oireachtas committee this evening. The Green Party deputy leader is due to answer questions about the resignation of RTE chair Siún Ní Raghallaigh, hours after Miss Martin failed to express confidence in her on live TV. One senior government source said it is going to be a tough day for her, but insisted that the minister retained the confidence of the coalition leaders. That's from 7 p.m. this evening, if you're interested in watching it. On to the Irish Daily Star now, and the cost of living crisis is continuing to impact families, with parents skipping meals so their children can eat. Shocking admissions that mums and dads cannot afford to feed themselves were revealed yesterday in a joint research document by Bernardo's and Aldi. Figures from the research shows that 41% of parents said they'd skipped meals or reduced portion sizes so that their children would have enough to eat, an increase of 12% since last year. That's an awful lot, 4 in 10. That means many of you have been in that same situation. If you want to share that experience anonymously, please feel free to text us. I think it's very important that we don't forget the pressure an awful lot of people are on in sort of the wider conversations that we tend to have. Other key findings include almost 1/4 of parents have had to borrow money to feed a child in the last year, up from 16% in October 22 and 11% in January 22. Some 21% of families have had to cut back on children's activities to afford food. So that's the swimming or the football or some evening entertainment having to be cut back so as to put food on the table. The Irish Daily Mirror this morning, Gardaí were last night questioning a man over the suspected murder of a firearms trader. Patrick O'Mahony Sr., who was 84, was discovered with a gunshot wound outside his home on Castlemaine, County Kerry, on Sunday morning. A man in his 60s was arrested yesterday on suspicion of murder as Gardaí awaited the results of a post-mortem. TD Michael Healy-Ray revealed he was a close pal of Mr O'Mahony and is completely devastated by the news. He said, "What has happened to him is awful. I would have had a lot of dealings with him through the work in the gun club and the shooting range, though through that, I was a very personal friend of his, and I'm a member of the range." And just lastly, in the Sun this morning, drivers scrolling on social media is a real issue, Garda Commissioner Drew Harris says. Police or Gardaí caught 19,000 people using their phones at the wheel in 2023. Now, if you go back to 2013, people would have been texting or maybe making calls. Now, I think the majority are going to be scrolling on TikTok or Facebook or whatever app they choose. And Harris urged the public to put their phones down while driving. He said, if you're using your mobile phone, then you are distracted, and events in front of you on the road as you're driving along can change in an instant. So concentrate on the road ahead. Put your phone to one side and certainly don't look at social media. I think that is a particular problem. He added, we are seeing terrible events on the roads, but the majority of those, there is some blameworthy factor. Could be speed, could be individuals driving under the influence of drink or drugs, or distracted driving, under which the use of mobile phones would fall. Right, let's take a break. We'll be back with our first guest on the 9 till noon show in just a couple of moments.
The newspapers are courtesy of Kelly Centra Mountaintop Letterkenny, the C-Store National Large Forecourt of the Year for 2022.
Choose life. Choose fun. Choose not sitting at home getting bored. choose something better, something really fun. Choose Fundamania. Coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl from March 1st. Choose regular, junior or family wristbands and enjoy some of Europe's top thrill rides. Choose fun for all ages. A legendary Fundamania event, 1st to the 17th of March. For details, see fundamania.co.uk.
Cabin crew, prepare for landing.
Wow, that was a quick flight. Never mind. Bondi Beach, Barrier Reef, here we come. Holiday of a lifetime. Can't wait. Me neither.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll shortly be landing in Austria.
Austria? We're supposed to be going to Australia. Oh, what have you done?
I
should have gone to Specsavers. Book an eye test online.
Does anyone have any long trousers I could borrow?
I've only got a bikini, Andy.
Don't know if you know Alice and Pat. Late 40s, couple of kids, been together 17 years. Never married, of course, but that's not a problem. Until something happens, and suddenly words like unmarried, inheritance, and substantial tax bill enter the equation. You never need proper estate planning. Until you do. That's why the experienced team at McElhenney & Associates are here to help. Find us online or call 074 917 5989. McElhenney & Associates, Solicitors, Stranola.
Teagasc are holding a tillage meeting on Thursday, February 29th at 8 p.m. in Angrinnan Hotel, Burt. Topics include future of Irish tillage industry, winter crop management, and crop options for 2024, and aphid management in cereal and potato crops. Speakers include Andy Doyle, Tillage Industry Ireland, Shay Phelan, Teagasc Crop Specialist, and Louise McNamara, Teagasc Oak Park Researcher. All welcome.
Hi, Paddy here at Shane Conley Cars in Donegal Town. Are you looking to upgrade your car? With Shane Conley Cars, you'll find makes and models for every budget. Great finance options, and we also accept trade-ins. Check out ShaneConleyCars.com or call in to us at Shane Conley Cars from Lonaher Road, Donegal Town.
Are you female, currently unemployed and looking for a new career in construction? Rural Enterprise SkillNet is delighted to announce the launch of a new Women in Construction programme commencing April 2nd in Letterkenny. Join us for an information briefing on March 5th at the Radisson Blue Hotel, Letterkenny at 12 p.m. Or for more information, visit ruralenterpriseskillnet.ie.
And you're very welcome back to the programme. And we welcome into studio now Bishop Alan McGukian, Bishop of the Diocese of Raphoe. Thank you so much for joining us, Bishop. Thanks for calling in.
Nice to be here, Greg. Thank you.
How are you feeling?
That's a hard question to answer. I
thought I would start with a hard one.
I'm looking in both directions. These two big things, moving home and moving job, and I'm doing the two of them together. And I find it, frankly, more disorienting. I've moved many, many times in my life, and it is much more disorienting this time than it ever was before.
Do you think in the back of your mind you didn't think you'd be moved again? That this is where you would finish your...
It most certainly was. I am a Jesuit, and just part of the deal with being a Jesuit is that you're on the move, and you expect to be moved, to be asked to move, and you move. But when I became a bishop, that was just a totally new thing, and there was a sense that I'm married to this now, and this is it. I will... So in my mind's eye, I had myself wondering, well, when I retire, where will I be? And I had myself at various places, always in County Donegal. I'm nearly embarrassed to say it, but I said it to the people last night, where would I be buried? I would be buried in Donegal. So absolutely, in the last while, when I spoke over in Belfast, the day that it was announced that I was to be the bishop there, I spoke, and it's very true in terms of I am coming home. I was born and raised in North County Antrim, and that is my home. But I have a sense also here that I'm leaving home. This has been my home.
And I suppose either consciously or subconsciously, perhaps you allowed yourself, I don't know if it would be an emotional attachment to an area. Do you know what I mean? As you say, you knew the life of a Jesuit priest particularly, so perhaps you always held a little back. but perhaps, as I say, either consciously or subconsciously, you allowed the roots to grow a little bit deeper here.
I think that is true. We Jesuits try to commit ourselves totally to wherever we are, but no, there was that element. I was pretty sure this is it. This is it for good. Yeah.
Well, one of the last times I spoke to you, somewhat ironically, I don't know if that's the right word, you had to lay out in really quite frank terms the reality of asking priests to move, from one diocese to another. That's what they signed up for, and even in the face of public opposition, and I think in a way that's a beautiful thing, that someone means so much to some that they would gather and they would call on you to change your decision. But you says, you're really quite firm. This is a decision; it can't be changed. And then a couple of short months later, you find yourself in pretty much a similar position.
Yeah, I about a year ago, when Down and Connor was vacant, a number of people said to me, "We think you might be going there," and people whose opinion you would take very seriously, and I was open to that at that time. Then 6 months passed, 9 months passed, and I was clear in my mind. No, whatever that was, that's not on now. It was completely out of my mind. And it was a Saturday morning there about a month ago. I had done the park run. I was sitting at home relaxing. I was going to relax for the rest of the morning, and a text came asking me to contact the Papal Nuncio's office. And just that was, oh my goodness, here it is. And then it moved very quickly, and I was sitting in front of the Papal Nuncio, and just the way it works is, he says, "The Holy Father has appointed you to be the Bishop of Down and Connor." And we chatted back and forward just about that, but then the next line is, with that little interim, was, "Do you accept?" So I looked at him and I sort of smiled. I said, "What do you think?" Like somebody who has spoken to you as I did on this other side. Come on. Yes. Absolutely. There is. I committed myself to live under obedience, and when it comes, it comes.
Yeah. Would an interview like this been more difficult, sort of more immediately after that, whilst you were processing the human emotions?
Yes, and I wouldn't have done it. And even after it was made public there on the 2nd of February, I didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to speak publicly. I dealt with people one by one, and there was a whole lot of dealing with people one by one, telling the people in my own office and in my own house that, oh goodness gracious. So I was not ready. No, and when I was contacted by the station here to come, I said, "Wait a minute, no, I don't want it. I want it to be almost as I'm walking out the door. I'm prepared to do this, but not until then."
Bishop, you don't get if you don't ask. So
absolutely, no, I understand that.
It's 6 years you've been the bishop, isn't that correct? Yes. And it has there's been a whole range of things, and I suppose really in terms of just coming here. Some of the first inquiries you would have got, some of the first things you would have had to have dealt with were matters around abuse.
Yeah, that's right.
So that as you walked in, that was some of the work that you had to begin immediately.
Absolutely, and that, in many ways, that is one of the big realities of my time as a bishop. It is maybe the big reality in the life of our church. This horrendous injustice to the most vulnerable, and responsibility on the part of those who were guilty, and then responsibility on the part of the institution. And then I'm the bishop. I am the institution. and I carry that, and rightly so. So, of course, that is something that, in my position, you carry with you all the time.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, things that have been in place or efforts that have been made to try and deal with that, you would very much hope they continue, I presume.
Oh, and that, indeed, not only that, and there are very good things in this diocese. I think particularly of what we have set up, the liaison person, Margaret Northage, just does a wonderful job in reaching out compassionately and caringly, and I know that will continue, and one would hope that we as a church will get better at this.
Mm-hmm. Of course, too, in the middle of your 6 years there or thereabouts, too, we had something that very, very few people have ever experienced before, and that was COVID.
Yes. Wow.
Which for me seems like it never happened, and then at the same time it feels like it went on forever, and it feels like it was yesterday, and it feels like it was 25 years ago. It's incredibly difficult for me personally to sort of frame it in life.
Oh, absolutely. And like in terms of my 6 years here, it was smack in the middle, and I had some plans. I had a pastoral plan in the making. And moves like that. One simple but really important for me part of my pastoral dream was, and I spoke about it and got a great response from musicians in every parish. I wanted congregational singing. I really wanted to encourage that, and we had a marvellous gathering on Pentecost Sunday 2019 where people came, hundreds of them came from all across the diocese, and we just had this wonderful liturgy with everybody singing their hearts out. And the idea was that we'd go back and we would nurture this in every parish, and bang, not only, first of all, we can't be in church for weeks and months on end, and then we're let back into church, and what? We can't sing. So we just this big bang, smack in the middle, and that's just one image of how it just shut everything down, and that was a major part of my experience as a bishop, wanting to do something, and then just kind of everything's frozen, everything's on ice now
and it was a difficult time too, in that it seemed that an awful lot was happening, but things were very slow to lift for the church, and in terms of singing or whatever it might be, and the terrible impact it had on people too in the grieving process, and there's some study out today which points to that there are still people that, because of the system, this process that we'd established that helps us through a process that transitions us from a person being there one day and then not being there, and how we deal with that was taken from us. Now, we did find other ways, but there are still people now. I think that the process for them has been stunted because of what we were asked to do or what we were restricted from doing.
I don't doubt that. I know, and just one of the first big impressions when I actually came to live in Donegal was I realised that all of those rituals around bereavement and supporting the bereaved, in terms of wakes, like they are developed to a degree in Donegal like nowhere else in Ireland. Nowhere else in Ireland is there the same sense of the duty of solidarity and gathering around people, and so my goodness, like the idea that people couldn't gather for wakes or that nobody could be in church. On it, my God, when you think of it, the horrible shock to the system of people who were bereaved, that they were standing outside the church, and their mother or father or close relative was being prayed for inside, and people standing, keeping distant from one another outside. It was horrendous.
Yeah, and I remember speaking to people. We'll move on from it because I think a lot of people want to remain focused on that. But just remember speaking to older people that were sort of saying to me, like, listen, I'll take my chances. just let me into the church to pray. If God protects me, he protects me. If he doesn't, he doesn't. And it was such a tough time. But during those times, there was some evolution as well. Mass became incredibly popular on social media. Yeah. You led a rosary yourself, which proved quite a thing.
It did. That October dawn that we started on, it was St. Patrick's Night that year. It was Father Paddy Dunn said to me, you have to reach out to the people. You're the bishop. Get into the cathedral and use the webcam and lead them in the rosary. And I said I would do that, but also that I would lead them in the examen, which is this review of the day prayer. And oh my goodness, like for months on end, I had this experience of going over to the cathedral and knowing, first of all, on Facebook, you could see that there were lots of people from around the diocese, around the world. And then there was this other hidden, it has only become clear to me, there were these hundreds, maybe a few thousand on webcam who weren't, like, you don't know about them. They're just sitting out there. And I have been met again and again by people all across this diocese, but all across the country, saying that it was a real anchor in the day. And particularly people living alone. They felt bound into a community. So it was a real lesson to us, community is something that you do shoulder to shoulder, touching one another, looking at one another in the eye. But there was real community.
Yeah.
There was a real experience of community that could be supported by the social media. That was amazing.
And too, I just think there were lessons to be learned, and I wondered, did we learn them in that, you would be very, very familiar, as most people would, but we certainly would on this programme, about, rural isolation or loneliness and what have you. And we all, I think everyone got a sense of that. And I kind of hope that we would learn coming through that maybe, we would ensure that people aren't lonely or don't feel isolated. I don't know if that happened or not. I don't know if we did learn from that and things have changed, or everyone went back to the hustle and bustle of life, and those who felt lonely already continued to do so. I don't know.
Listen, to some extent the latter is the case, but there's also the reality that the numbers of older people who became very adept at iPads and iPhones, sure, and like this Zoom, whoever heard of Zoom? But like I'm Zooming both for work and for socializing day and daily, and a lot of people who would never have dreamt that they could master this stuff is second nature to them. So I think to some extent, some of that isolation is being broken down.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, stay with me, Bishop, if you don't mind. We do have to take a short break. We'll be back with more from Bishop Alan McGukian in about 2.5 minutes. Keep your texts coming in. Lots of people, a couple of questions, but a lot of people wishing to pass on their good wishes. Patricia on Facebook, God bless. Evelyn, Corin, God bless Bishop Alan. And on just actually before I take the break, I'll talk about this, and then we'll take the break and come back. My understanding is that you've been, and I think you referenced it today, but you also referenced it last night and previously, that you've been particularly moved by the amount of people praying for you. How has that surprised you in any way, or why is that moving you such?
There had, like even last night, and over the last while, there are individuals that I don't know awfully well who say to me, I pray for you every day. Why? Just that moves me very much. Like I sense that sort of Alan McGukian doesn't deserve this. I'm surprised, I'm taken aback and very uplifted by it. Like very often people say, I'll pray for you, or you'll pray for me. And the skeptic in us all says, well, what difference is this making, But now I am a believer, and I believe it makes a difference. And I think, my goodness, this has to be giving me something that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
Back with more shortly.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
Choose life. Choose fun. Choose not sitting at home getting bored. Choose something better. Something really fun. Choose Fundamania. Coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl from March 1st. Choose regular, junior or family wristbands and enjoy some of Europe's top thrill rides. Choose fun for all ages. A legendary Fundamania event, 1st to the 17th of March. For details, see fundamania.co.uk.
For new perspectives and a fresh vision, join me, Greg Hughes, on the 9 till noon show every Thursday at 10:15 for your voice, your community.
Find all the fresh seafood you know and love at your local Dunstores fishmonger. Marinate and pan-sear a succulent 250-gram hake fillet, only €3, and serve with mango salsa. Pick up a 180-gram pack of beautiful king prawns, only $3.49, or 3 for €10, cooked with your favourite spices or dressing. Plus, you can save at the till with a 5 off 25 grocery voucher. Dunstores, always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used on next in-store grocery shop of €25 or more.
Nutrius Milk Replacer range, which includes NutriStart and NutriStart Plus, offers the best start to your cows this spring season. With 23% and 25% crude proteins, ideal for calf to beef and heifers rearing systems. Give your calves the best possible start. Available in your local Homeland store. Visit nutrius.ie for full nutritional information.
There are new rules in Ireland for combating illegal content online. Online platforms now have to provide an easy way for people to report illegal content to them. They have to remove illegal content. If they don't, Comisiún na Meán, Ireland's online safety regulator, will take action. If you see illegal content online, you should always report it to the platform where you see it. Spot it, flag it, stop it. For information on reporting illegal content online, visit www.cnam.ie.
Ryan Adams is back on tour in 2024. Join Highland Radio on our trip to Dublin to see the man himself at the 3 Arena on Tuesday the 21st of May 2024. Your trip includes luxury transfers, bed and breakfast at the 4-star Carlton Hotel Blanchardstown, your standing ticket to the show, and a shopping trip to Dublin city centre the following day. Find out more on the outlet at highlandradio.com or call us on 074 91 25,000.
And we are in the company of Bishop Alan McGukian, who, after over 6 years in this area, is moving to his new post as Bishop of Down and Connor. The messages coming in, and it was something that was at the forefront of my mind to mention to you, and that was the Creasla tragedy. Oh, yeah. And often in moments of crisis, and this was felt unmatched in generations in this area, we see the absolute awfulness of life and death, and then we see also too the best of it in terms of supports and coming together and what have you. What's your recollection of that awful?
That afternoon, Father John Joe Duffy called me to say he had just heard reports. He was away down in the south of the county, and he thought it was something terrible. He even mentioned fatalities, and I was going into a meeting, and my thought was, no, that has to be an exaggeration. I put it out of my mind and went about the meeting. Then after the meeting in the office, they were saying that there's something on Highland Radio, actually, on your web page, and I drove down just as it was getting dark and arrived at the police cordon, and my first thought was, maybe I shouldn't go in there, I'd only be getting in the way, but anyway, thank God I did, and the guard waved me on in. And just immediately there was a local woman recognised me, said, "Oh, Bishop, it's great you came." And just funny, just you had that experience that all of us have had at different stages of our lives. You're standing shoulder to shoulder with people going through just the most awful tragedy of their whole lives. There are no words. and yet somehow or other you know that they're glad you're there. There's nothing you can say, but that really was how it was. My abiding memory of it is a sense of being honoured by the people who were suffering so much, who like as a bishop, I am meant to be a pastor, a shepherd, and you often don't feel like that, and you feel totally inadequate to it, and then people in that awful moment allow you to be a shepherd to them. So my goodness, it was yeah.
And often too, like I stopped sort of asking the question is, what can you say? Be it a bishop or a priest, when you're there around people at the worst time in their lives. And the answer often was you don't really, there's nothing to say, you don't have to say anything. And then I learned not really to reference that, because obviously me, just as someone who wouldn't have understood it, I would be saying, well, sometimes you actually don't say anything, you just be present, you just be there. And that's what happened, be it yourself or just the community on that day and the days that followed. Sometimes you don't have to say anything, you just have to be there.
No, that's right. And I think what an awful lot of people said to me was how glad they were that I was there standing beside Father John Joe. Like obviously we know Father John Joe, just in God's providence, was able to be with people, to find words in his homilies at the funeral masses and in other ways, and an awful lot of people who benefited from that then said, and you as his bishop were standing beside him, and that meant an awful lot to us. So like it was just standing there, said something. You wanted it to say something, you don't know what exactly it's saying. Then listen, I had the privilege of the people gathered for prayer in the church every night, and I had the privilege of leading that. And like what you're doing there is you are pointing to something beyond. It's not well, here's the answer, and it's all right.
You don't have all the answers, because I think maybe there could be this perception that we struggle at times with, how could God, or how could a God do this? But you, even as a bishop, and a priest, and I've spoke to them in the past, sometimes you have to answer those questions yourself and find the answers through your prayer or through your faith. But you're a critical thinker, and sometimes you go and say, well, why would this happen? Well, what is the purpose of this?
And of yourself, you do not have an answer. Like you can't, it's not like something that you can say either to yourself or to somebody else, and they're convinced. They say, "Oh yes, of course. Why did I not see that?" Of course, it's not like that. But we, as Christians, have to speak to a reality that is not seen, that we don't see, that you don't get with your intellect, but that faith tells us about, and this is not an abdication of critical thinking. It's a stepping into another world that, at various times in our lives, we are able to affirm. In the moment of the greatest crisis, probably not. I do remember. Actually, it was that other awful tragedy that happened while I was here was the 4 young men. Do you remember who died in the car crash? And I was reminded of something that I found the words to say that spoke was, I remember saying at one of the removals to the people that I expect that you may not be able to pray at this time, and don't be surprised at that, and don't be worried about it. We will pray for you, and as human beings, we are very limited. we never have all the answers. In our moments of crisis, we have maybe no answers and we feel totally lost. But we're part of something bigger. And there are others there with us. When I'm down, you're up. When, and that's part of it. And that's staying within the ambit of just ourselves. And then we have faith that there's a spiritual reality that's bigger and beyond us entirely. And we reach out into that.
I mean, obviously, you formed some really strong friendships here. One of my highlights was the two bishops calling into studio, because I think you both worked very well together. Is that sort of that friendship, that cooperation, unusual? Is it unusual, or is it something that you managed to achieve yourselves? Or?
Well, I mean, as you saw, Bishop Andrew and I, we get on very naturally, and we don't see each other that often, but there just has come a bond. He and I wanted, and he contacted me at the time of when the Micah crisis. I mean, it's funny, we're just naming it. It's
one after the other.
One after the other. He wanted to come, and that we would be there together, and we went and stood outside some of the houses, falling apart, and we had the experience of the bricks crumbling in our hands. We wanted to do that together, and it was really effective that we did. So, there's an element of personal chemistry between me and him, but I and we Catholic clergy and the Church of Ireland and the Presbyterian clergy here in Letterkenny get on really well, and now, like, before my time, obviously, my goodness, when I was a child, I remember going up to the door of a Protestant church and looking in and realizing, my goodness, I would never go in there. God, listen, it was another time, and that's how it was, and thank God it's gone.
Do you have to some extent forego connections to this area, if you know what I mean, to fully commit to your new post as Bishop of Down and Connor? I mean, you can't, or maybe you can, this is a question, not a statement, but do you have to emotionally move on as well? I'm not saying do you have to, block people on Facebook, metaphorically speaking, right?
Yes, I know.
But do you sort of have to say, right, to some extent, I kind of have to start afresh in my new post?
Oh, listen, I wish you wouldn't ask me that, but in a certain sense, I have to give I'm the Bishop of Down.
I'm asking you this because I know actually sometimes priests have to.
They do, and
so that's only fair.
Absolutely, no. But back to your very first question about how is it right now? Last night, I was there in the cathedral with hundreds of people from Raphoe, and just feeling such a bond with them. It was amazing. Now, if I'm to be a good Bishop of Down and Connor someday in the not too distant future, please God, I will have that bond with them, and wouldn't that be great? Please God, I will, where they are my life. And I wear this ring on my finger that I never dreamt I was going to wear a ring on my ring finger, and it represents my desire to be united closely with my people. And starting officially and formally on the 19th of March and then the 14th of April, the people of Down and Connor are going to be my people. Yes, I am.
And then, of course, you struck a work-life balance here, if I can call being a bishop work. Yes. Which often isn't factored in as well, because you have to have your downtime as well. Downtime, you're going to have plenty of downtime and Connor time for that matter.
Yes, I hear.
A caller says, does the bishop leave knowing that the door of the church in relation to abuse to date is fully opened and addressed?
No, I did. I think it is such a. I mean, this is a cataclysmic thing in our history, and goodness, I couldn't say yes. Everything is sorted now. No, I cannot say that. But please God, just with the passage of time, it will be that people who have not been able to come forward will come forward. Things will be addressed.
The church has to be seen in a way that someone can come forward.
Absolutely,
and
yes.
You believe the church is in that position? Could more be done? More could always be done. Those questions are they shouldn't be asked. Of course, more could be done, but it's a case of it has to be done.
Yes, okay. yes.
What is the situation in terms of your replacement? And we were getting loads of suggestions. I think you can guess them.
No.
I'm not sure it's quite like that.
No.
What is the process there? How long might it take, and what happens in the interim?
Well, first of all, what happens in the interim? When I'm formally I am either the bishop or the apostolic administrator of Rafo until I am formally the Bishop of Down and Connor. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, there's a group of consultors, priests of the diocese, whom I appointed as consultors. My consultors, they meet and they choose a priest of the diocese to be the administrator. He will have much of the authority. He will not be a bishop, mm-hmm. but he will have much of the authority of a bishop to keep the thing going. So that's what will happen in the interim. There will be a diocesan administrator appointed. The process is run by the apostolic nuncio. He will be writing out to many people, priests and lay people who know something of the diocese. He will write to bishops and ask for suggestions about who would make a good bishop. And he will gather a big list of names. And then I think start whittling that down by asking more specifically for people's judgment before God about the suitability of this or that priest, this or that priest to be the bishop and to be specifically the bishop of this diocese. It ends up where there is a list of 3 names with a dossier that is sent to Rome. There is a congregation known as the Congregation of Bishops that deal with those, and the after discussion at that level, the prefect of that, it's called a dicastery now, but of that group, the dicastery for bishops, goes to the Holy Father and presents this list of 3 names to him, and he does decide. Like there are hundreds of these every year, but I have reason to believe that the Pope very actively, as I say, he examines these things closely. He asks some questions, and now he could say, I don't want any of those 3. Mm-hmm. Go away and start again.
Well, okay. So it is it's a long process.
It is.
You asked earlier, you said earlier on that the question was put to you, will you be, or do you want to be, or however it was phrased, the Bishop of Down and Connor. Could you have declined that?
You could. Oh yeah, the question, do you accept? There's 2 answers to that.
So, do you see that as a test that was given to you?
Well,
because
you
you're making a decision which is going to cause, obviously, perhaps great opportunity, but also great personal suffering.
Yes,
which you brought, to some extent, it was put on you, but you also brought it to yourself. So, in other words, was this a test?
That question. Well, no, a test is putting maybe too much in.
I'm about the spiritual test, not the test by the church.
No, but it's a man could well say, listen, for reasons that you obviously do not understand, I'm not suitable for this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, so just at this moment in my life, for reasons known only to me and that are in my soul, in my heart, I know I'm not the person that should do this, and my answer is no. And that has to be respected. Now, I know that if it happens, the papal nuncio, he will be very crestfallen because he's going to have to go back and start this whole thing all over again.
I have hundreds of messages which we'll read out and maybe get to you at some point. Wishing Bishop Alan all the best. I watched as a young boy step forward to speak to Bishop Alan last night after Mass while you were walking around the side of the cathedral. That's the hearts you've touched, and it was lovely to see that young boy going to speak to you, which I think is particularly nice. That one jumped out at me. And of course, there was a poem written about you and the story of your life. We've spoken in the past about, you know, you becoming a priest and what have you. I suppose I wanted to focus on, you know, just over 6 years ago onwards. That's all the time we have, Bishop McGukian, but unanimously people are sending in love, good wishes and compliments to you. I suppose just I'll leave the last word to you.
Well, it has been the great privilege of my life. It's been a very challenging privilege, but nonetheless the great privilege of my life. I have come to love Donegal and the people of Donegal. I leave happy but sad at the same time. So that I want to say thank you to you, Greg. I have been here. You have spoken and questioned me honestly and fairly, and I really appreciate that.
Okay, thank you, Bishop. I do appreciate it. We wish you all the best, good luck, best. I don't know the right phraseology, but anyway, we just wish you the very best with your move to the Bishop of Down, to be Bishop of Down and Connor. And there's no doubt, I think, that our area's loss is Down and Connor's gain.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time today as well.
My pleasure. God bless you.
Choose life. Choose fun. Choose not sitting at home getting bored. Choose something better. Something really fun. Choose Fundamania. Coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl from March 1st. Choose regular, junior or family wristbands and enjoy some of Europe's top thrill rides. Choose fun for all ages. A legendary Fundamania event, 1st to the 17th of March. For details, see fundamania.co.uk.
I saw your Be Good baker running by again the other day, says I to old Mr. Brennan. Ah, yes, says he. I've never seen her stand still. And she's running rings around the rest of us with our Brennan's Be Good bread. Only 60 calories a slice. 60 calories, says I. That's just a whole meal, is it? No, says he, it's the whole meal, the whole grain and the white. 60 calories a slice and high in fibre, whatever way you slice it. That's why anything baked is better with Brennan's. Today's bread today.
I know it's easy with bottles and cans to simply throw them in a bin, but they're not useless. There's a new way to do this. Return your bottles and cans.
Return is Ireland's deposit return scheme. Bring back empty, undamaged bottles and cans with the Return logo to a shop or supermarket. You'll get your deposit back and they'll get recycled better. For more, visit return.ie.
Bring it back.
Are you ready to elevate your driving experience? Look no further than iMotors, your only Nissan dealership in the Northwest. The Nissan X-Trail has been crowned Large SUV of the Year. That's right, it's not just an SUV, it's an award-winning experience on wheels. Available in 4-wheel drive and a 7-seater. Visit us today at imotors.ie to find out more.
Announcing a spectacular Doors and Floors 2-day sale event at Donegal Town Hardware. Enjoy massive discounts on floors, doors, handles, locks, skirting and more. Expert staff will be on hand to answer all your queries. That's the massive Doors and Floors sale event happening for 2 days only, this Friday 1st and Saturday 2nd of March at Donegal Town Hardware.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by Grant. Building a new home? Choose Grant's A++ rated Airona air-to-water heat pump and Uflex underfloor heating. Visit grant.ie.
Okay, the rain will clear eastwards later this morning, followed by well-scattered showers and sunny spells. Temperatures today, 8 or 9 degrees, winds moderate to fresh. Back with Community Garda information after the news and obituary notices.
Choose life. Choose fun. Choose not sitting at home getting bored. Choose something better. Something really fun. Choose Fundamania. Coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl from March 1st. Choose regular, junior or family wristbands and enjoy some of Europe's top thrill rides. Choose fun for all ages. A legendary Fundamania event, 1st to the 17th of March. For details, see fundamania.co.uk.
To make way for new stock arriving in March, Highland Motors in Letterkenny have a flash sale now on until Monday the 4th of March. With great scrappage deals of up to €2,000 on all used Dacia Dusters and up to 3 years warranty on most of the award-winning used Renault models like Arcana, Capture and Clios. It's a sale with exceptional offers. Don't miss out this week at Highland Motors in Letterkenny or visit highlandmotors.ie.
Do you need a UK address? Save hundreds of euros on custom charges shopping online with Space Hub Dairy. We provide a full virtual address mailbox service for all your business and personal use. Save hundreds, possibly thousands on custom charges with Space Hub Dairy. Call 048 71 87 8077 or online spacehubdairy.com for more details.
Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring are 26 years old, and to celebrate, we're offering up to 70% off everything in store. That's right, a massive birthday sale with up to 70% off all tiles, wood flooring and bathware. Everything's in stock. Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring, up to 70% off birthday sale now on.
If you need a new laptop, enjoy super fast performance and seamless multitasking with the Vita laptops at Ben Sweeney Euronics. Vita laptops are equipped with advanced processors and ample RAM, so they handle everything from work to entertainment with ease. They come with a 2-year warranty, and prices starting at only €449. For more details, pop in and see us at Ben Sweeney Euronics, Port Road, Letterkenny, or in the shopping centre, Dunlow.
Will you join us at Relay for Life Donegal in May? This event makes a huge difference in the lives of cancer patients and their families. Register your team now at donegalrelayforlife.com. You and your team can make a difference as we celebrate our survivors, remember those we've lost, and together let's fight back against cancer.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. Almost €120,000 worth of suspected cannabis has been seized in South Donegal. 6 kilograms of the suspected drug was seized during follow-up searches conducted by Garda in Ballyshannon on foot of the discovery of a grow house in Donegal town last week. The find brings the estimated total of drugs seized to €751,500 after over €630,000 worth of suspected cannabis was seized during last Wednesday's operation. The departing Bishop of Raphoe has said he feels like he's leaving home. Earlier this year, it was confirmed that Bishop Alan McGukian, who has spent the past 6 years in Donegal in the Diocese of Raphoe, is to move to Belfast and take up the position of Bishop of Down and Connor, Ireland's second largest diocese. Last night, St Eunan's Cathedral in Letterkenny was packed for a farewell mass in advance of Bishop Alan's departure. This morning he spoke on the 9 till noon show and told Greg Hughes that while as a Jesuit he expects to be moved, this move came as a complete surprise.
Part of the deal with being a Jesuit is that you're on the move and you expect to be moved. But when I became a bishop, that was just a totally new thing, and there was a sense that I'm married to this now, and this is it. When I spoke over in Belfast, the day that it was announced that I was to be the bishop there, I spoke, and it's very true in terms of I am coming home. I was born and raised in North County Antrim, but I have a sense also here that I'm leaving home. This has been my home.
The North's Economy Minister says he will do all he can to ensure increased investment in the North West City region, but told the Assembly there are other regions that feel equally left behind. Responding to questions from Foyle MLA Sinead McLaughlin, Minister Conor Murphy said the Executive will do all it can, but some decisions, including that of where to locate investment zones, will be down to the UK Government. Ms McLaughlin told the Assembly the idea of an investment zone in the North West would be proof of the Minister's stated aim of achieving regional balance.
Will you commit today to ensuring that the British Government places any investment zone in the northwest city of Richmond, because that would demonstrate your ambition for regional balance?
The decision on a regional investment zone is a matter for the British Government, but what we want to do is ensure that what we can do and affect policy here is to make sure that there is regional balance.
New figures show town centres need help as the number of vacant commercial properties stands at its highest since records began. A study by Geodirectory shows the average number of vacant commercial units stood at 14.35 at the end of last year, up 0.3% on the previous quarter. The commercial vacancy rate in Donegal has risen to above the national average. It stands at 18.2%. Ballybofey continues to have Donegal's highest commercial vacancy rate at 29.4%. Bundoran has the lowest at 12.7%. Action plans transforming one town centre in each county are to be advanced by the Minister for Social Protection, Heather Humphreys, tomorrow in Donegal. The town centre first plan is located in Milford. Geodirectory's CEO Derek Hugh says such schemes are vital to making sure that vacancy rates don't slip further.
And so you can see in somewhere like Edgeworthstown and towns around the country like that, there are rooms for government schemes, as the Minister said, the Minister would be announcing, that would help re-energise the centre of towns, because they need to become, I suppose, more than just a destination for function, as something that you go to have an experience and to enjoy and pleasure, rather than just go to do a single job.
Sinn Féin have confirmed 4 more candidates to contest the upcoming local election. Councillor Terry Crossan has been selected along with 20-year-old student Niamh McGuinness from Bridgend to represent the Buncrana local electoral area. Councillor Jack Murray had been previously endorsed. Elsewhere in the county, Councillor John Hamish O'Farry and community activist Brian Carr have been selected to run in the Glenties electoral area. A motorcyclist has been arrested after being caught at almost 80 kilometres an hour over the speed limit in the Letterkenny area. The Buncrana Roads Policing Unit detected the motorcycle travelling at 106 kilometres an hour in a 100 kilometre per hour zone yesterday. The person was charged and is due in court. And looking at the weather forecast, rain clearing this morning, followed by well-scattered showers and sunny spells. Top temperatures today of 8 or 9 degrees Celsius. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with local news headlines at 11 o'clock. Don't forget you can check all of today's news, of course, on our website, highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, good morning.
The obituary notice is for this Tuesday morning, February the 27th. The death has taken place of George Thomas Clark, 10 Dergfold, Castle Derg. High strictly private pleas at his own request. Service of thanksgiving for the life of George will be held in Kaleter Presbyterian Church this afternoon at 2:30, followed by committal in the adjoining graveyard. Family flowers only please donations in lieu of desire to Kaleter Presbyterian Church, Kev Robert Armstrong and Son Funeral Directors. The death has occurred of Robert O'Connor, Roxtown, Tubin, Burnfoot, reposing at his home. Removal tomorrow morning at 10:15 to St Mur's Church Vaughan for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock, followed by interment in the adjoining graveyard. Requiem Mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. Family time please from 11 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Family flowers only please, donations in lieu to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Murphy Funeral Directors. The death has taken place of Jean Wiley, née Steele, formerly of Cosh Quinn Road, Springburn Road, Derry and Quigley's Point, Donegal. Her remains are reposing in her son's home, 3 Deanfield, Limavady Road. Funeral from there this afternoon at 12:30 for service in Ballyarnett Presbyterian Church at 1 o'clock. Interment afterwards in Muff Parish Church Burial Ground, County Donegal. Family flowers only please, donations in lieu of flowers if wished to Parkinson's UK supporter care team. And the death has taken place of Catherine K. Steele, Cooley, Moville, remains reposing at her home. Funeral service tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock in Greenbank Presbyterian Church, Quigley's Point, followed by burial in the adjoining graveyard. Family time from 11 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Donations in lieu of flowers if desired to ICU ward, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Highland Radio.
Before you settle on a new hybrid, take the Nissan Qashqai e-Power Challenge. The Nissan Qashqai e-Power is a hybrid, so you don't have to plug in. But unlike other hybrids, it always drives in electric mode. You get the superior, smooth and quiet driving experience of an electric car all of the time. Take the Nissan Qashqai e-Power Challenge at your local Nissan dealer today. You'll never look back. Nissan, innovation that excites.
And now, IMRO's 2023 Best Local Original News Programme, The Voice of the Northwest, the 9 till noon show with Greg Hughes.
You're very welcome back to the programme. Thank you very much for joining us. If you've just tuned in, you missed a very interesting hour. We had what's most likely our last interview with Bishop Alan McGukian before he moves east, and a wide-ranging interview. If you did miss it, it's going to be available on our podcast or to watch back on our socials a little later on. Lots of you messaging in. Thank you, Bishop, for all your evening prayers during COVID. It really helped me. Good luck in your new post. I would like to thank Bishop Alan for being such a great Jesuit and doing so much for Letterkenny, from Teresa in Muckish Avenue. Will there be a new bishop appointed in time for children making their confirmation in May? Well, I don't know the answer to that. There is some speculation too, which I didn't put to the bishop, about dioceses being merged and maybe one bishop taking over two. I don't know the answer to that question, but certainly from the bishop's answer, it's a very drawn-out process. Good morning. I'm disappointed that Bishop McGukian is moving, but understand that is the way his faith works. He came to the diocese at a difficult time and led with integrity and compassion throughout his tenure. His high level of emotional intelligence is unfortunately not so common throughout the church. I wish him well and wish him many years of health and happiness. Thank you, Bishop McGukian. Can you ask Bishop McGukian why he has a priest in his diocese who refuses to christen babies of unmarried parents? Well, give us more details on that. That's something I didn't see while the bishop was with me, but certainly can pursue that for you. It doesn't feel right to me. Bishop McGukian was an excellent pastoral support to the people of Donegal in times of tragedy, when 4 young men died in the Gweedore area, and again during the Creeslock tragedy. Bishop Alan was a pillar of support with Father John Joe Duffy, and the bishop referenced both of those tragic events. Bishop Alan, wishing you good health, happiness and God's blessings in your new venture as Bishop in Down and Connor, from Mary and Kieran Maguire and family, and from all at St Columkill Hospital. Thank you for your support. Please pass on our sincere thanks and God's blessings to Bishop McGukian on his new role as Bishop Alan brought us through COVID with beautiful and supportive prayers via webcam. That comes in from Kathleen Grant in Burt. I found the bishop to be fantastic in pastoral care, just at a time when Donegal very much needed it, says another listener. God bless you in your work every day. We are delighted to welcome you back to Belfast. That comes in from Mary Farag. Greg, please pass on our gratitude to Bishop McGukian, who will be sorely missed in Donegal. He brought the church back to the community again. He has had a massive positive influence on my faith from the Doherty family. Will the new bishop who comes in do another clerical change around again? I'm not sure of how that might work. That's in his gift, though. In the meantime, who now runs and makes decisions within the diocese while we wait on a new appointment? As the bishop mentioned, priests come together and appoint an administrator, I think, who is not a bishop but can carry out many of the duties a bishop can. Best wishes to Bishop McGukian. Bishop McGukian and Father John Joe Duffy were a tremendous support to all in Creeslough. We're thankful for your guidance and for the support we continue to receive from all in the Creeslough Community Association. Bishop McGukian was a reliable or relatable bishop. He was constantly visible in the community, which made us feel he was one of us. Please ask the bishop about the referendum and what guidance he would give voters. Maybe there's an opportunity to do that before he departs. I just wanted, I didn't see that question, but it didn't come to my mind to ask that question because it's just was the one opportunity really, I suppose, to be able to reflect on his time here, though I'd be very interested in the answer to that question myself. We'll take just a couple more before we take the break. Thank you, Bishop Alan. You came to visit our uncle when he was in the hospice and you prayed with him. Sadly, he passed away, or he has passed away now, but we will be forever grateful for that act of kindness. God bless you, Bishop Alan. A lot has changed socially over the years. What is the Bishop's view of the new gender recognition laws that allow children aged 16 to take parents to court to change their gender? And what is his view on those who support giving the right to children under 16? There's a bit of conflation of where we're at and where people think we might be going in that. Not to in any way disregard that, but I wanted to read it. But obviously the Bishop has passed from the studio now. Okay, I'm going to head into the bingo numbers with a competition. We had 2 family pass winners yesterday for the Fundamania Fairground, which is coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl in Derry, London Derry. The second winner yesterday was Eddie O'Donnell from Creaslet. So Eddie, you don't even have to enter today. You've already won from yesterday. But we do have 2 unlimited family passes for the Fundamania Fairground coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl in Derry, London Derry. It's from the 1st of March till the 17th of March. And we're asking you again to tell us which town in Donegal we're talking about. We've got 3 clues. Here are the clues. Harvest Fair, Valley's End, Heritage Hub. Those are the 3 clues. What town are we talking about in Donegal? Harvest Fair, Valley's End, Heritage Hub. Text your answer, your name and where you're from, or WhatsApp it to 086 60 25,000. There's no cost to you at all, providing you're not on... I mean, everyone gets free text now, don't they? And you could win a incredible family pass. There's 2 to give away again today for the Fundamania Fairground. It's an all-day pass, by the way. The Fundamania Fairground coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl in Derry, London Derry from the 1st of March to the 17th of March. And you're being told not to miss out on the ultimate fairground experience of a lifetime.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Tuesday the 27th of February. You're playing on the brown sheet. The reference number is S2. It's game number 9. The numbers are 49, 83, 40, 39, 3, 58, 44, 12, 27, and finally 54. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Imagine a device so innovative you're... Accept cookies? There is a device so forward-thinking you... Accept cookies? A device that is so modern you... Accept cookies? Now imagine a technology where cookies don't get in the way of your advertising. Welcome to radio. Advertising that's cookie-free. Visit radiocenterireland.ie to see what radio can do for your product or brand.
For day-to-day healthcare needs, generations have trusted the experienced staff at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny. From coughs and colds to aches and pains, from vitamin supplements to first aid essentials. McGee's have what you need when you need it, with a full prescription service available daily. McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny. For healthcare help and advice you can always trust.
Choose life. Choose fun. Choose not sitting at home getting bored. Choose something better. Something really fun. Choose Fundamania. Coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl from March 1st. Choose regular, junior or family wristbands and enjoy some of Europe's top thrill rides. Choose fun for all ages. A legendary Fundamania event, 1st to the 17th of March. For details, see fundamania.co.uk.
The Community Garda information slot is brought to you by Sheridan Security Systems, protecting what you value most. Call today and get your zero-wire alarm system from €299. Sheridan Security, 91260025.
Okay, it's that time of the week again. It's Tuesday, the 27th of February, and at 18 minutes past 10, we welcome into studio for Community Garda information, Garda Grania Doherty from the Letterkenny Garda Station. Good morning, Grania. Thank you for your time. It's great to have you in studio.
Good to be here.
All right, lots to talk about, so we'll crack straight on with the appeals. And Garda seeking the public's help in relation to a road traffic collision on the N13.
Yes, Garda and Buncrana are investigating this collision. This occurred on the N13 at Carrow Ray Bridge End, so quite close to Bridge End Village on Friday the 23rd of February in and around 9:55 a.m. The collision involved two vehicles. One person was taken to hospital following the collision by ambulance to receive treatment for non-life-threatening injuries. We're appealing to anybody who travelled along that route, very busy route, the N13, from Burt to Bridgend, on the morning of Friday the 23rd between 9:45am and 10am, who had a dash cam to make that footage available to Gardaí. We're appealing to anybody, obviously, who observed this collision or who may have seen people on foot in the area following the collision. We'd like to speak to them also. So Buncrana Gardaí can be contacted on 932 0540.
OK, now we're going to talk about the theft of a car from Canal Road in Letterkenny.
Yeah, so this theft, Mazda 6, it has a partial registration number of 131D3000. This car was stolen from the Canal Road, Letterkenny, between 5:30pm on Monday the 19th and 9:30am on Tuesday the 20th of February. We're appealing to anybody who may have observed any sort of activity, suspicious activity in that area between those times to make contact with us in Letterkenny on 9167100. If anybody has any relevant information in relation to the incident or any knowledge in relation to the current location of this stolen car, we want to speak to them too. So Gardaí in Letterkenny can be contacted, or there's always the Garda Confidential line. Either sometimes people aren't comfortable with ringing their local station, so that number is 1800 666 111, and you call that line, you leave an automated message. There's no requirement whatsoever to leave your own details.
All right, now details on thefts in Letterkenny town.
Yeah, so a couple of theft incidents. These occurred in the early hours of Monday the 26th of February. So the first incident occurred in and around midnight at the rear of the retail park. A blue Ford Transit van with partial registration number of JLZ entered that area. The occupants got out, they stole a quantity of food trays from there. The van then left that area, travelled over to a car park on the Pierce Road at approximately 20 midnight, where the occupants then stole a 16-foot Brian James C4 car transporter before leaving the area. We're appealing to anybody who may have been in that area, that general area of the retail parks, the Pierce Road, or just within the general area of the town itself, between 11:30 and 1am, who had a dash cam, to make that footage available to us. If anybody observed this van in the area with or without the trailer, we ask them to make contact with us on Letterkenny on 9167100, and again the Garda Confidential line can be contacted in relation to that matter.
Yeah, this is the early hours of yesterday morning, and a vehicle to trigger any memories you might have, or indeed if you want to check any footage you might have, a blue Ford Transit van with a partial registration number of JLZ that would have subsequently after the theft be towing a 16-foot car transporter. Right, okay, theft from a car in Carrigan's.
Theft from a car, this one, yeah. So this theft occurred at Pump Street in Carrigan's in the early hours of Saturday the 24th between 4:45am and 5am. Car was parked up at that location, entry was gained to it. This car had been unlocked, but the key was faulty to the car. They were unable to lock the car, unfortunately. A small sum of cash was stolen from within the car, but no damage was caused to it. We're appealing to anybody who may have travelled in that area who had a dash cam between 4:30 and 5am to make the footage available to Gardaí. If anybody can assist with any information that would assist with this investigation, we ask them to contact us in Letterkenny on 9167100.
Okay, now we're discussing criminal damage in the St Johnstone area.
Yeah, this happened actually the early hours, the same date. This happened at Main Street, St Johnstone. So again, the early hours of Saturday the 24th, in and around 5am to 5:20am. So again, an unlocked car was parked at that location, entry was gained to it. Damage was caused to the ignition of the car. Nothing was stolen from the car. We're appealing to motorists who may have travelled again in that area with a dash cam between 4:30 and 5:30am to make that footage available to us. We're particularly interested in sightings of two male youths in that area around the time. This goes for the previous incident also, that these two male youths, if anybody spotted them in the area, we'd like them to give us a call. Again, if anybody can assist with any information, we ask them to contact us on Letterkenny on 9167100. And we're just continuing to appeal today to all car owners to ensure they've locked their car before leaving it unattended, regardless, no matter where you park it. If you park it up the main street, Letterkenny, in the driveway of your house or wherever you're parking it, always lock your car when you're parking it up and leaving it unattended, and don't ever leave cash or valuables in it.
Yeah, for sure. And I presume you're not ruling out the fact that those last two appeals may be in some way connected.
That has been explored.
Okay, right. It's criminal damage at Ard O'Donnell next, isn't it?
Buncrana.
Oh, right, okay. Main Street, Buncrana. I beg your pardon. Sorry, my bad.
No, you're okay. No. So this is a criminal damage incident that occurred at a business premises at Upper Main Street, Buncrana in the early hours of Saturday the 25th of February. 2 male youths are believed to have smashed the front window of this premises shortly after 1:05 a.m. in that morning. We're asking anybody that was in that area with a dash cam to make the footage available to us. And if anybody witnessed this incident, we also ask them to contact Garda in Buncrana on 9320540.
Right, criminal damage now in Ard O'Donnell.
Yeah, this happened on Wednesday, the 21st of February, between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. So 2 flower pots at a house in that area were smashed between those times. So quite a short time frame, and during daytime hours also. So we're hopeful somebody may have some information in relation to this one. If anybody has information, if they observed what happened in the Ard O'Donnell area, we ask them to make contact with us in Letterkenny on 9167100.
And just before we move on to some advice as well, just a recap of the significant drug seizure in the south of the county.
Yeah, so Garda in Donegal, they seized cannabis valued at over €600,000 during searches at an industrial premises last Wednesday in Donegal town. These searches were conducted as part of Operation Tara by the Donegal Divisional Drugs Unit. They had assistance, of course, from Gardaí in the Ballyshannon district. So during the course of this search, a large-scale grow house was located with cannabis plants at various stages of growth. The drugs seized comprised 500 cannabis plants and 13.5 kg of cultivated cannabis herb. The suspected drugs are subject now to analysis by the Forensic Science Ireland lab. So we're appealing to anybody who may have information in relation to this grow house and seizure to contact the Donegal Divisional Drugs Unit on 9167100, the Garda Confidential line either on 1800 666 111 or any Garda station. Mm-hmm. And the investigations are ongoing. We have an update here also in relation to a second drugs-related incident. So almost €120,000 worth of suspected cannabis has also been seized in South Donegal. 6 kilograms of this drug was seized during follow-up searches conducted by Gardaí in Ballyshannon. This was on foot of the discovery of this grow house in Donegal town last week. Okay. So the find brings the estimated total of the drugs seized to €751,500, and over €630,000 worth of suspected cannabis was seized during last Wednesday's operation. So as always, if anybody has any information in relation to this drugs find or any drugs-related activity whatsoever, we encourage them to contact Gardaí, even at their local station, or contact that Garda Confidential line number on 1800 666 111.
All right, okay. Bogus callers. This comes and goes, or it's ever present. I don't know. But anyway, this appeals off the back of some contacts you've received from some members of the public.
Yeah, so we had a couple of calls just within the last week. So one caller was from within the Letterkenny area and one was within the Lifford area. The Letterkenny caller observed a male. He was going door to door knocking. Now, this caller didn't answer the door. They didn't recognise him. They weren't sure of who he was. So they did the right thing and they just didn't open the door at all to them. They observed this man then carry on knocking at a lot of other people's houses. There would be quite a lot of elderly people living in this area. So they were just very wary of the caller. Now, we haven't had any report of any offences committed. So we have to be careful too to stress that point.
Awareness,
but just awareness, just to make people aware. And this caller did the right thing. They were suspicious of the caller and they contacted Gardaí. The second caller was in the Lifford area. They had somebody call to their home on behalf of an energy supply company. They felt just a bit wary also of this caller. I have actually emailed the energy supplier in question, so I'll give you a wee update on that next week just to make sure, just to verify where those people in the area. But again, in this instance, this person did the right thing. They contacted the Gardaí when they were wary. They didn't answer. They didn't give any personal details, I should say. I think the caller was asking for account details, personal details, and at that point, the person that reported this to us became very suspicious and wary.
We are in a space where I think maybe, and this is some people's livelihoods, by the way, so I'm not being overly critical, but you will get energy supply companies, you will get broadband suppliers, and people do call at the houses, and they will call to one after the other. And the reason I think they may have to look at that is because obviously nowadays we're a little bit more cautious, but they do require to ask advice or information off you. Like I was approached by a fellow, I think he listens to this show. It was perfectly legit, but then they ask for your account number, and it's just not information we're really used to giving out anymore. I don't think now it's done legitimately to find out where you're in the contract or what they can say from you. Yeah. But I just think maybe they might have to find a different way of doing that.
Of course, and then people that are listening to advice all the time, we're telling them, don't ever give out your personal information.
Yeah, exactly,
don't. And then, of course, that makes them suspicious. Then if somebody's coming requesting, and of course, this caller may have been genuine.
Well, that's it, you see.
So I have emailed. I'm going to check that out, and I will give you a wee update on that next week to make sure. But we just wanted, this time of year, springtime, summertime, this time of year, we do often see an increase though in calls related to bogus callers. They call to your door offering, when the weather's starting to, well, hopefully the weather will start to pick up. It's not going to be great this week.
Are you moving?
It's glorious in Ballybuffet. But no,
sun always shines.
They do. The call, look, this time of year onwards, the call offering power wash and painting, selling goods and acting under false pretenses. Of course, you can have someone there saying they're there on behalf of a particular company when they're not.
But even if they do, you're not obliged to entertain them. And it comes with the territory. They know they're going to get knocked back or whatever. But, you're not obliged to give anyone any information that you're not comfortable with. Or if you have any suspicions about the bona fide intentions of whoever's calling. I just think, as I say, that's why I think some of these industries are going to have to adapt, because this is just going to be the thing going forward. So you've I suppose, as we head into it, where we're going to probably see those with bad intentions. So what is the advice then? What we should do? You know what I mean? Obviously, if someone pulls up in an air van or something, it might be a little bit more simple, right? But let's just say they pull up in a flatbed truck or something, and you're a bit nervous. What advice do you have as to how to engage with the people at the door?
Yeah, well, most particularly for people who are maybe elderly, more vulnerable, living alone, we would advise, don't open your door to anybody unless you're totally confident that you know who this person is or that they have a genuine reason to be there. Don't allow them access to your home for any reason. You may have a caller saying, my car's broken down, I need to use a toilet, I want in to use your phone. If you don't know them, you're not totally confident as to their identity, don't let them into your home. We had instances in the past also where maybe two had called, the person in the home only seen one person calling to the door, asking them various questions. Distraction burglary is actually the term for that. Their accomplice then, while this person's keeping you talking on the doorstep, their accomplice is in around the back of their house. It only takes them 2 minutes in the back window and out, away with your cash, your valuables, So use a chain lock. A chain lock, they're so inexpensive.
I just wonder with the sort of plastic PVC aluminium doors, if they kind of went out of vogue a little bit, if you know what I mean, but you can still attach them to them. They're great security.
They are.
Because you can open your door, you can review the situation, and you have that security.
Of course, and if somebody's there on the doorstep saying, I'm here on behalf of, I won't name any energy suppliers or any other companies, but I'm here on behalf of X company, when you have the chain lock, you can open the door this amount. You could say, right, well, can I have your business card? And I'll call you back if I need your services. They can still hand it to you through the partially open door.
Yeah, now we've also seen too, and this can happen over the phone and in person, that one of the ways bogus callers, as I say, be it on the phone or otherwise, they try to put us off guard is to be very intimidating or persistent or defensive at us even questioning that they might be bogus callers, but they will employ that at times. So what do you do if you feel intimidated by one of these callers?
Well, listen, first and foremost, your safety is top priority. You have to mind yourself. Don't mind if they're persistent, and some of these callers are persistent. They can be intimidating. They can refuse to take no for an answer. If you have the chain lock or you don't open the door, you can converse with them through the door. Contact Garda immediately. If you encounter such a caller and you feel that they're being very persistent, contact Garda, give as much information as possible, what the person was wearing, an accent, what type of car they had, if you can, a registration number's ideal if you have that. And when they left your house, did they turn right, did they turn left? Let us know, because then when we call out, we'll know which general direction to travel and to check this person out to get them stopped. I actually had an instance at one stage there, an elderly lady, she opened her door and through totally good intentions, a caller had called to her door selling him, he said it was on behalf of a charity, and again may have been legitimate, but this lady with full good intentions left the man standing on her doorstep. She went inside to get her purse, left him there. The door was open, he had full access to her home to follow her in. He could have shut the door behind her, went in, and not only that, but also seen where the money was being kept, because he had a clear view of where exactly she went to find the money in her home. So just never leave anybody standing unattended in your doorstep with the door ajar either.
And this might be just your age, but and you talk about door chains, and door chains obviously are very significant. But if I could also mention too, because I'm a little bit younger than you, aren't I? Oh, I'm so smart now, I can't remember what I was going to say. Doorbell. Camera. Video doorbell. Yeah. Like, you can get them locally here for as little as €69, right? Which is a considerable purchase, but for the security of it, there's a cloud backup included. That's a video who calls to your house. It works at night time. You can view it on your smartphone, so you'll get an alert on the smartphone to say there's someone at your front door. You can actually speak through your smartphone, and there's motion detection if you wish to switch that on as well, so it will start videoing as soon as someone approaches you. So I'm joking and facetious, and Granny is way younger and better looking than I am. But as an alternative, and I know people in my life who are a little bit older and they had no problem with this here. They're very intuitive. You can get a video doorbell for as little as €70. I say you can probably even get a little bit cheaper, but that's what you can get them for locally. It's another option. I think if my dad was still with me, I think I definitely would have got one of him, because the alert comes up on the phone and you just click it and there's a wee speaker and you speak. So it's another option. It's a considered purchase, but they're definitely, most definitely, they're ideal. But I think a lot maybe of older, and I don't mean to be picking on the older people, but I think a lot of them maybe are a bit wary of technology, and maybe might not understand how, they might not have a smartphone, they might not know how to operate, exactly, and for that the addition of the chain is a wonderful bit of security. Don't get me wrong, but it's just whatever suits the people and the individuals. Okay, that's good advice. So be vigilant if you're generally out in the community as well, not just having them people calling, just be the eyes and ears as well of your community, and the Garda are charged then with patrolling and protecting your community, and as well too, there's lots of people that don't listen to the radio or don't be on social media. Sort of help share this advice with those who may not have heard it.
We just ask your listeners to speak to their vulnerable family members, neighbours and friends, and just advise them in relation to bogus callers also.
Rightio, give us a quick reminder, will you, of the Donegal Youth Awards, because there's always a big response to this, and we want to make sure this year's is bigger and as good as other years.
So the Donegal Garda Youth Awards, they're celebrating outstanding young people between the ages of 13 and 21 from throughout Donegal. The process is open to nominate a young person, and we and the JPC are inviting the public to nominate a young person who is committed to making a difference during 2023 in their community. And we just ask people, I put a post up on Facebook yesterday, and we would ask people maybe to think outside the box. Sometimes maybe people think, no, it's not worthy of we want to celebrate everything good about young people.
Now, I think sometimes when we talk about the Garda Youth Awards, it might be an act of bravery, which is fantastic, or what have you. This is to acknowledge and recognise, and everyone who's nominated is recognised, what they do for you as an individual, as a community, as a group. And if you think about it, I think most young people do something really worthwhile and worth nominating.
They do, and I think sometimes we are a bit hard on young people. Sometimes we tend to point, not me personally, but as a whole, the community. But I just think, actually, I'll tell you, I was down on the beat one of the days a couple of weeks ago, and I was kicking myself. I got back to the station. I had seen a young lad down the town, and he was wearing I'll not name the school either, but he had a secondary school uniform on. And he was down the town in one of the shopping areas, and he had he was pushing a lady in a wheelchair. To me, it seemed like it might have been his mother, maybe, that sort of relationship. But I was just watching him. I stood for a while and watched him, and with just total admiration. I mean, for young people, image is everything.
For sure, yeah.
And he was there. He was as proud as punch, looking. He had his full uniform on him, and this was his mammy or whoever relation she was to him. And I watched him he was handling her with such kindness, and in and out of shops carrying bags, and I could see him every so often. He went over to kind of lean in to reassure her, to ask her, is she okay? And I just thought, I went back to the station then, and then I kicked myself, because I thought, I should have went over and asked that young man who he was, because I would love to have even put in a nomination form for him.
Yeah, for sure.
So even things like that, if somebody knows of a young person, and there's plenty of them out there that are carers for family members, they help out with people who have disabilities, physical, mental disabilities. if you have a young person involved in a charity, a football or a sporting community that gives up their own free time to help with that, whatever they do, we want to hear about them. And you can get a form. Some people don't have access to printers. Look, you can print them from the Donegal County Council website, from the Garda Síochána Donegal Facebook page, or from garda.ie. Some people don't have that access to print these forms. Give Letterkenny Station a ring and ask for me, or leave a message for me, and I'll post one out to you. The forms are at Letterkenny Station, Buncrana, Milford and Ballyshannon. So, there's no endless ways to get these forms, and please do nominate a young person or a group of young people that you know who are worthy, because it would do their confidence the world of good too to get. They must be in by 12 p.m. on Thursday, March 7th.
Okay, right. A question that came in early this morning, and I understand and respect people contacting the show, and I really wish them they do and continue to do so, and I wouldn't put them down, but it was off the back of sort of something I read a little earlier on from Drew Harris, talking about people using their mobile phones and to desist from doing so while they're driving. Now, unfortunately, already this year we're seeing an incredible amount of fatal crashes. We're not even hearing about the crashes that cause life-limiting illnesses, people losing vision, the ability to walk, whatever it might be. And one of the contributing factors to that is us being distracted when we're driving, or drink and drug driving, or speeding. Road conditions are also playing a factor. The conditions of the car are playing a factor as well. But the stuff that's in our control. Now, I understand the Garda Commissioner coming out and saying this, but what we kind of tend to do is try and put the blame onto someone else, or say, well, yeah, but what about them? This is about us taking individual responsibility. But that being said, I do understand why we get some of these messages in some time. And a caller wants to know, what's the policies with the Garda when they're using the mobile phones while driving? I've seen a Garda on their phone while driving on 2 occasions recently in Letterkenny town.
Yeah, and this is a question that has, I think this did come up actually before.
It comes
on
up quite regularly.
Yeah. So Gardaí have an exemption while in the course of their duty from, they're allowed to use their mobile phone while driving during the course of their duty. So for anybody that does see a Garda car going past and the driver is on the phone, I suppose, look, in cases where maybe there's an emergency and extra details have to be passed on quickly to the car crew, they may receive a call. It is limited. It's only used in emergency situations, say if the guard really is compelled to answer the phone if they're on their way to an emergency situation. But as it stands, yes, guards are exempt during the course of their duty from using their mobile phone.
All right.
Driving, yep.
Garda Grania Doherty, thank you very much for that. That was Community Garda information for this Tuesday, the 27th of February 2024. You can listen back, of course, on the podcast. You'll be able to watch back on our Facebook page and on the Garda Síochána Facebook page a little later on today, and it's back live with you with another edition after the 10 o'clock news next Tuesday.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com.
Choose life. Choose fun. Choose not sitting at home getting bored. Choose something better. Something really fun. Choose Fundamania. Coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl from March 1st. Choose regular, junior or family wristbands and enjoy some of Europe's top thrill rides. Choose fun for all ages. A legendary Fundamania event, 1st to the 17th of March. For details, see fundamania.co.uk.
It's time to visit Ireland's newest Lexus dealership, Lexus Letterkenny. With 50 years of experience, you can trust us in this new era of electrification. Experience our all-electrified range, including the stunning ES Hybrid Saloon and our award-winning range of plug-in hybrid SUVs. And view our finance offers, including the all-new LBX. Start your 2-for-1 journey with Lexus Letterkenny Port Road. Lexus. Experience amazing.
At Cooney's Home Interiors, we pride ourselves on offering you the very best in choice, quality and value on all home furnishings. Treat your home with a visit to Cooney's today and choose from our large range of suites, tables, beds, not to mention our large selection of home accessories. Our motto is, if you see it, you can buy it, and we will deliver it to your door. Cooney's Home Interiors, Letterkenny Retail Park. Style and perfection at incredible value.
Are you building, rebuilding or renovating? what heat pumps or solar panels would suit your build. Come along and speak to the experts, Efficient Renewables on heat pumps and solar panels. Get advice on installation and grants available. Visit the Efficient Renewables showroom in Newton Cunningham and see these products in operation for yourself.
How would you like to go on the holiday of a lifetime? Then why not join us for the Highland Radio Hoolie in sunny Salou? Spend 7 nights in the sun with some of Ireland's top entertainers, including Robert Mazzell, Jim Devine, Margot, Claudia Buckley, and many more, with live music all day, every day. Staying in the beautiful 4-star Sol Costa Jurata Hotel, this is a trip not to be missed. Book now by calling Country Music Tours on 074 9119 955 or email info@countrymusictours.ie. We'll see you in sunny Salou.
Now, you're very welcome back to the programme. And I have in studio with me Marie. Marie, thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate you, I suspect, stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something that you never imagined that you would do in speaking to this Egypt live on the radio.
No, I never thought, Greg, I would do it now, to be honest now, but I'm very happy that you let me do it now.
No, we're good, and we'll take our time and it'll be fine. As I say, I'm a little bit more used to this than you are, but you're going to be fantastic. Right, so this is about really the message to trust your gut instinct, and it's amazing how often this comes up on this programme, and it's invariably to do with medical matters. So I suppose if you can take us back, this started with, was it a scheduled appointment with breast check, or did you have any concerns, or what was the situation?
No, I had concerns. On my left breast, I found like a hardness on it. So I went into my own doctor in Sturnorler, and he had a check, and he said that he would send me on to the breast check to get it looked at. So I went to the breast check unit on the 4th of September, and during that time that I was in, I had a biopsy, the mammogram, and an ultrasound. So the mammogram and the ultrasound came back okay, and the biopsy was taken. There was 3 biopsies taken, and they said that the consultant said that he thought everything looked okay, and that I would get a call in, I think it was a week or 2 weeks' time.
With the results of the biopsy?
With the results
and
of the
did that call come?
That call came, I think, was about a week after to say that everything was clear and that I was okay.
Now, I think for, I was going to say 99% of us, but maybe it's not. It's like, right, I did the right thing. I had a concern. There was a change in my breast. I went and got all 3 things done in the day, got the biopsy, they checked that, and go, right, happy days, that's the end of that.
Yes.
And on we would go, because we would be assured and confident in the system. So what happened then after that? Or was that your emotion? So what was your initial emotion when you got firstly you felt reassured, presumably after day 1, but then when you got the results of the biopsy a week later, were you content with that? Did you say, all right, that's good news then?
No, not really, because it didn't explain what it was, you know, and it was the hardness, and in my own mind, I just thought, I don't think this is right.
Right,
you know?
okay.
So a couple of weeks later, I got a letter from Letterkenny Hospital to say that there was the week of the 4th of September, that there was an error in the labs, which resulted then in a scientific error, but that there was still enough of my biopsy left.
Enough tissue there.
Left for them to check it and tell me that it was clear.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks later, sorry to recap everything, but it's actually really quite a remarkable story.
Yeah,
3 week odds later, they phoned to identify a mistake, which again might sort of say, right, okay, that's all right. And they had enough of your tissue to check it, and then they said that was okay.
Yes.
And at that point, how did you feel?
I felt worse at that stage, because then I thought to myself, I don't agree with it now at all, because I didn't expect that to come so many weeks after the initial phone call.
Yeah.
And the hardness was still there. So in my own mind, I wasn't happy. So I wasn't. So I went back then to my own doctor about something else. And I said to him about what had happened with the breast check. And he looked up, obviously they'd sent him a letter as well. So he looked up his letter. And he said he had never heard of that ever happening before, to this scientific error. And I did have a laugh, because I said to him, trust me, the day would go wrong for mine to be in, you know. And I said I wasn't happy, that I wanted to go for a second opinion. Now, he was very good, you know, and he said to me, yep, if you want to go for a second opinion, no problem. I have, everybody should go for a second opinion, he says, you know. So I was... And
like, had this change in your breast, like, were others, I don't know if a GP checks that or if it was checked in the hospital, like, could they feel what you were talking about? Like, was it recognised that there was something there?
Oh, it was, yeah. Okay. Oh, you could feel it. You could feel the hardness on the left breast.
Okay, so you weren't told you weren't feeling something that wasn't there. Okay,
no.
that's so the GP backed you up, said everyone really should get a second opinion. Mm-hmm. So how does that work? How do you get a second opinion? Do you get referred again?
We get referred again.
Okay.
Yeah. So he asked me, did I want to go back to Letterkenny to get it done again? And I said no, that I didn't trust them, to be quite honest, and that I'd rather go somewhere else. He said, because the breast check, you wouldn't have to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was referred somewhere else, I would have to pay. And I said I didn't mind.
Okay.
Because if I don't put my own mind at ease, because I just didn't trust Letterkenny, to be honest. I just didn't trust them to do it again.
So you went to Galway for the second opinion on the 13th of December. So September, October, November, December. So this has been with you for 3 odd months at this stage. You had a biopsy on the Monday.
Yes.
And what happened?
No, it would have been, I think it was the Wednesday I was down in Galway.
Right, okay, beg your pardon.
I think that was the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
And he did 5 biopsies that day. He said there was definitely, he could feel something, you know, and he would do the biopsy. So he did do the biopsy, and he said that they would probably ring me the following Wednesday or Thursday of the following week. So on the Monday, we got a call to say that he wanted us down again on the Tuesday.
Wow.
So I was a bit naive, thinking that it was just for checkups, you know, or more tests, you know. So we went down on the Tuesday, and he introduced himself to my husband. We went into the room, we were sitting down, and the next thing he said, you have cancer. You have lobular cancer. So it was an awful shock, I have to admit, you know. I didn't think he was going to say that. You know, I just in my own head, I didn't think he was going to say it.
You hadn't prepped yourself for that part?
No. So it was like, I went in myself and I came out completely different, if that makes sense.
Of course it does.
No.
And the original issue was with your left breast?
Yes.
And did they check both breasts in Galway?
They did, yeah. I did an MRI in Galway. So something showed up then on the right breast as well. So I had to go, because it's quite small, it's on the right breast, they couldn't do a biopsy because the needle goes in, so they mightn't be able to pinpoint it.
Yes.
So I went to Dublin to the Mater for that. So I had that in February. Can't think now the date.
That's fine.
And I had to wait for almost about a week and a half to get the results for that. So that was quite a long time. So when the results came back, because I said to my husband, I never want to do that again, because it was really extremely painful. And turned out then there was a difference of opinion, I think, between Galway and Dublin on the results on the MRI. So then I got speaking to the consultant again, and I decided that I wanted to get a double mastectomy. I think that's the safest way for me.
This is a decision you've made?
Yeah.
Right.
The left breast I was going to get a mastectomy on the left breast, but because everything went so wrong with the left breast and the whole journey through it, I just, in my head, I think, you know, I couldn't do this again. No, mentally, I definitely couldn't do this again.
And is there anything particular about lobular cancer that makes it difficult to pick up?
Yeah, lobular cancer, they call it the sneaky cancer, because it can show maybe in one place where mine was, really. But when they did the lumpectomy on the 8th of January, the tumour was 10 centimetres long that they took out. So it spreads, but it doesn't show it. You know, that's why it doesn't show up then on the mammogram or the ultrasound.
Now, have you caught your cancer early? Or how is that categorised to you?
Yeah, well, lobular cancer is very treatable.
Yes.
That's what they say.
Okay.
So it is. But I think that the consultant in Galway couldn't understand, because it was so big, why it never showed up anywhere.
And the issue we have here, not the issue, sorry, the reason why that you've made this very brave decision, I believe, to speak publicly, is that you weren't the only woman saw on that day in September 2023. No. So 40 women were seen that day.
I think it was around that, yes.
Ish, okay. 8 were recalled.
Yeah.
Your call back to tell you that there was a technical issue. Is that's classed as a callback, right? Yeah.
Well, that was by letter. I got that in a letter form.
Right.
So,
but your concern is it that, I mean, you've shown such determination here, right? Your concern is it that maybe someone on that day, may have got the all clear in inverted commas, to use that phrase, and yet they could still feel there's something wrong, but they don't want to question the science.
Yeah. Well, you see, I got the letter to say that there was that error, and I phoned the number on the letter that day.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to a lady. So she told me that there was 8 women called back. I wasn't one of those women.
Okay.
So I wasn't. So when I got diagnosed then in December, all I could think on, Greg, was really how many other women were told.
False negatives.
Yes. That, they were okay.
Could just be you. But it could not but just be you. And that's why you have to.
Yeah. So that's played on my mind, I think, since December.
Yeah.
Because maybe I'm just a bit stubborn, and I went on ahead, but I just knew myself this wasn't right.
Well, your stubbornness, I think, we never know how things might be developed. As you say, lobular cancer is treatable, but you have to know it's there.
Yes.
And then, of course, I don't think even would your right breast have been checked if you hadn't gone to Galway. It might not have been. I don't know what the procedure might have been there if you hadn't gone private. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's only through your sort of determination and trust of your gut, and that's the line, trust your gut here.
It is.
That sort of has. I mean, this is a process you're still very much in.
Yes, it is.
And you've had to really make some very, very tough decisions yourself as well.
Yeah, that was. It's a tough decision now for the right breast, to be honest, but I think for my own mental health, the thought of having maybe to go through this again.
And part of you sort of goes, I can maybe hopefully get all of this done at the one time.
Yes.
And then move forward.
Yes,
rather
and
than
move forward.
The constant, I get you.
Because I think it just would be on my mind all the time that, if the right breast, and because they had that, there was that undecided decision between Galway and Dublin.
And Dublin, yeah.
And because the left side was so, we always thought we were just going down one path, and this path seemed to take turns, and there were so many wee roads off it, that it just didn't go right.
I mean, it's been a disastrous few months, but wondrous at the same time, because you've so much to consider. What if I didn't trust your gut?
Yes, exactly.
No one knows your body better than yourself.
No,
and that's
what
line.
I would say as well. If you think that it's not right, you should say. I went back to see the consultant on the 9th of October when I got the letter, and being honest, the way that I felt when I went into him and explained to him, I felt that he didn't want to see me, and I told him that the hardness was still there, and what he said to me, he examined me, and what he said was that he was trying his best to find something, but there was nothing there, and I was all clear.
Yeah, okay. And as I say, this is one of those double-edged swords in that we don't want to cause alarm for women.
No.
But at the same time, there's a responsibility to speak out, to say, well, I might be the only one, but I may not be the only one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Okay. Marie, thank you so much for calling in. Hopefully it wasn't as bad as you had anticipated. No. I think you've done something very important today. I wish you the best of luck with the hurdles, or however you see them yourself, that you've to overcome, and that we know you've made the right decision and you come through this and get on with things. But it's not easy to talk about something so personal, and I genuinely really do appreciate you doing so. And as I said just before we started speaking, we only really need to get through to that one person that needs to hear.
That's all. That's all
this
I do.
interview and maybe double check. Okay, listen, best luck with everything going forward, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks very much, Greg.
Choose life. Choose fun. Choose not sitting at home getting bored. Choose something better. Something really fun. Choose Fundamania. Coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl from March 1st. Choose regular, junior or family wristbands and enjoy some of Europe's top thrill rides. Choose fun for all ages. A legendary Fundamania event, 1st to the 17th of March. For details, see fundamania.co.uk.
Do you need a UK address? Save hundreds of euros on custom charges shopping online with Space Hub Dairy. We provide a full virtual address mailbox service for all your business and personal use. Save hundreds, possibly thousands, on custom charges with Space Hub Dairy. Call 048 71 87 8077 or online spacehubdairy.com for more details.
Donegal ETB's Further Education and Training Fair is on this Wednesday and Thursday in the Radisson Blue Hotel, Letterkenny. Wednesday evening is aimed at Leaving Cert students, their parents and anyone looking to upskill. And on Thursday from 10, it's for anyone interested in full and part-time education or training opportunities. Join me, John Breslin, on Around the Northwest, live from the fair on Thursday, as we find out about some of the many options available in more than 100 venues across Donegal. That's this Thursday, live from Donegal ETB's Further Education and Training Fair in the Radisson Blue Hotel, Letterkenny.
Getting married? Don't leave it too late. Book with us today at the Groom's Room in Evolve Clothing, Letterkenny Retail Park.
Uno, dos, tres. A hain, a do, a tree. 1, 2, 3. The Arona, the Ateca and the Tarraco. 3 great SUVs from Seat. And when you order now, you can enjoy 3 years free tyre insurance and 3 years roadside assistance, plus 3 flexible payment options to purchase your new Seat. Visit seat.ie to discover even more of our fantastic offers. Great things come in threes at DMG Motors Donegal Town. And while I have 3 seconds, allow me to say that yes, terms and conditions apply.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by Grant. Building a new home? Choose Grant's A++ rated Airona air-to-water heat pump and Uflex underfloor heating. Visit grant.ie.
Okay, so scattered showers and sunny spells for this afternoon. Highest temperatures of 8 to 10 degrees in moderate to fresh southwest winds, easing and veering northwesterly towards evening.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Okay, it is 11 o'clock, time for a news update. It's over to Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. Gardaí continue to investigate the discovery of over €750,000 worth of suspected cannabis in South Donegal. As part of Operation Tara, €630,000 worth of suspected cannabis was seized following the discovery of a grow house in Donegal town last week. During follow-up searches, an additional 6 kg of the drug was found. The departing Bishop of Raphoe has said he feels like he is leaving home. Earlier this year, it was confirmed that Bishop Alan McGukian, who has spent the past 6 years in Donegal, is to move to Belfast and take up the position of Bishop of Down and Connor, Ireland's second largest diocese. The Taoiseach says funding for public broadcasting is not just about RTE anymore. Speaking in Paris last night, he praised Media Minister Catherine Martin for doing a difficult job and handling her brief extremely well. She's due before an Oireachtas Media Committee tonight. The North's Economy Minister says he will do all he can to ensure increased investment in the Northwest City region, but told the Assembly that there are other regions that feel equally left behind. Responding to questions from Foyle MLA Sinead McLaughlin, Minister Conor Murphy said the Executive will do what it can, but some decisions, including that of where to locate investment zones, will be down to the UK Government. Gardaí are hunting the drivers of a blue Ford Transit van they believe was involved in a number of thefts in Letterkenny in the early hours of yesterday morning. A 16-foot car transporter and food trays were stolen. Meanwhile, investigations are continuing into a crash near Bridgend on Friday morning last. A person was hospitalised for treatment to non-life-threatening injuries following the two-vehicle collision at around 9:55 a.m. in Carray. HICWA has published reports following inspections at 2 residential centres for older people in Donegal, both of which had 48 residents in place. 3 non-compliances were noted in the case of Larissa Lodge in Letterkenny, while 2 non-compliances were reported in the case of Nazareth House Fawn. In both cases, plans to address the issues have been submitted by the centres. Gardaí are keen to speak to anyone who may know the location of a car stolen from Canal Road in Letterkenny. The Mazda 6 with a partial registration of 131D3000 was taken between 5:30pm on Monday, February the 19th and 9:30am the following morning. And Gardaí in the county are again urging people with suspicions about unexpected callers to their homes to contact them. The appeal was made on today's 9 till noon show by Community Garda Grania Doherty, who detailed 2 calls received by Gardaí in the county in the past week. She says up to now no offences have been reported or detected, but is stressing that in both cases the residents did the right thing. Those are the latest headlines. We'll be back with an update again at 12 noon.
Thank you very much indeed, Michaela.
Cutting through the spin. The 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
Now, Highland Radio is delighted to have teamed up with Vodafone to promote their High Digital initiative. Do you want to know how you can learn online skills for everyday life? Well, Vodafone Foundation, in partnership with Alone, have created online skills training for older people. The training is available online at hiddigital.ie or via in-person classes in Convoy. With the right support, you don't have to be scared of technology and can embrace it. So have a listen to this morning's tip.
Here's an online safety tip brought to you by High Digital. Free online skills for everyday life supported by Vodafone Foundation in partnership with Alone. When using the internet, you should be mindful of scams and frauds. Scams are when someone tries to trick you. A fraud is when someone tries to steal from you. These dangers come in many forms. Common ones include messages pretending to be from tech support requiring personal information from you, social and romance scams asking for financial aid, and grandparent scams where scammers may impersonate a loved one in distress requesting money. Scams and frauds try to exploit our personal nature of gaining through an opportunity or avoiding a loss or wanting to help others. Be aware of potential scams and frauds. If you would like to learn more about how to identify these, visit highdigital.ie or call 1800 20 30 30 for more information. Brought to you by Vodafone Foundation and Alone.
Choose life. Choose fun. Choose not sitting at home getting bored. Choose something better. Something really fun. Choose Fundamania. Coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl from March 1st. Choose regular, junior or family wristbands and enjoy some of Europe's top thrill rides. Choose fun for all ages. A legendary Fundamania event, 1st to the 17th of March. For details, see fundamania.co.uk.
Get the right tools or equipment to get the job done with great hire deals at Watson Hire in Letterkenny. Everything from diggers to power tools, dumpers to portaloos, and pressure washers to cherry pickers. Watson's offer a fast and reliable service. To book, call Watson Hire in Letterkenny on 9167777.
Nutrius Milk Replacer range, which includes NutriStart and NutriStart Plus, offers the best start to your calves this spring season. With 23% and 25% crude proteins, ideal for calf to beef and heifers rearing systems. Give your calves the best possible start. Available in your local Homeland store. Visit nutrius.ie for full nutritional information.
This leap day, some things are absolutely guaranteed. Like boyfriends mysteriously going AWOL for the day, and 84-year-olds having 21st birthday parties. But another guarantee this leap day, and only in Ireland, is that one Eurodreams player will win €2,000 every month for the next 5 years. That's €2,000 a month for 5 years. Guaranteed. But only if you play Eurodreams on the 29th of February. The National Lottery. It could be you. Play responsibly, play for fun.
Highland Radio are celebrating another birthday. We are inviting you to join us for our Highland Radio Birthday Bash on Tuesday the 19th of March in the Mount Errigal Hotel. Joined by the one and only Margot, myself David James, plus special guests Brendan Quinn, Declan Ernie and Patrick Feeney. This is a night not to be missed. Tickets now on sale. For more information, visit the outlet at highlandradio.com or give us a call on 074 91 25,000. We'll see you at the Highland Radio Birthday Bash.
If you're not with Energy, chances are you're paying more than you need to for your electricity. As Ireland's newest energy provider, we offer Ireland's cheapest electricity rate, saving our customers up to €500 per year. So if you want to pay less for energy, simply pay a visit to unoenergy.ie and sign up for big savings with smaller bills. With Energy, you just know. Energy fixed discount rate EAB €1415. For T's and C's and rates, see unoenergy.ie. Suppliers' pricing may change.
Now, my next victim on the programme is Isabel Rogers, Chair of the Donegal Hospice Board. Isabel, thanks so much for calling in.
Good morning, Greg, and thanks for having me.
I do find it amazing that...
it's nerve-wracking,
but people come in and, it's not something I'd be too keen on doing, so I genuinely appreciate it. And why not? Because we're going to be touching on a couple of really positive things. We'll start with news that planning permission has been approved for the Donegal Hospice Extension and Refurbishment Project. This is a key part of the process, of course, to get the planning over the line.
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big thing to get the planning over the line, and we got it on Friday, Greg. And the people of Donegal, they own the Donegal Hospice, and it's a great thing for them, and all the fundraising and everything that goes into it. But anyway, it's great because people will be able to avail of the service. Unfortunately, the ones in the future will be able to avail of it, and it's going to be the state-of-the-art building, and we're going to have additional rooms to accommodate physiotherapy, occupational therapy, and education facilities as well. The extension is actually a 2-storey building, so upstairs will be all conference rooms and that for education, to educate, for hold education sessions, which we never probably had there before. It was always in a hotel or whatever. So, as well as doing the new extension, we're going to be running alongside with an upgrade of the existing building, because it is 21 years old, and the rooms have to be upgraded to HICWA standard, and also we're going to be doing upgrading of the heating, the insulation, and new windows, and upgrading the bedrooms.
Brilliant. So it'll make the whole building will be more energy efficient.
It means it will be lovely to have the whole thing done.
And isn't it nice to be talking about the expansion and growth of such an important thing? Because often when we talk about services and what have you, it has to be sort of in a negative light to try and prompt improvement, or it's about fighting for retention. Yet here, such a valuable thing, commodity, I don't know what you would describe it, service, but that kind of makes it very clinical, and it's not. You see, that's why I'm struggling with that word, that we're talking about its growth and its expansion and what extra it'll be able to provide. It's nice to be in that position, isn't it? And we'll get onto it in a bit, but that's down to the drive of yourself and your team, but the people of the county as well. They're shoulder to the wheel as well. It couldn't be done without their help.
Like, I'm 35 years with the hospice, and we've always fundraised. We fundraised for this build that we're in at the moment, and now we're fundraising. We fundraised for the new build. What it means, having this new build, it will decrease the waiting time to get into it, and it will also provide more beds for respite for patients with COPD, motor neuron, multiple sclerosis, and other life-limiting conditions. We closed daycare before COVID, or during COVID, sorry, and we're opening that back up again as well, which means the patients out in the community can come in. I think it's 1 day a week we'll be starting off with, and they can come in and meet the medical team and get assessed again and get therapies, aromatherapy, etc.
Wow, fantastic. Now, obviously, dates and times can slip, so we're not like pinning you to, what is it, the pin of your collar? We're not putting you to the pin of your collar. But when is it hoped now that planning permission has been approved, that work might be able to begin?
I don't know when work will begin, but it will take 18 months.
Okay.
From it starts to it finish, we hope. It will, without any hitches, it'll take 18 months.
Yeah.
And so basically, it'll go now to tender.
Brilliant. Oh, of course, that process has to be gone through.
That process has to be done,
Of course.
So
and
we'll go to
And any disruption will be kept to an absolute minimum. So just to run through, the proposed development includes the construction of 4 new apartments. The new additional apartments will accommodate patients and their families, offering support and a compassionate environment during their time at the hospice. Additional rooms, as you heard Isabel mention there, physiotherapy, occupational therapy and social work, as well as training and educational facilities, which is a great advancement as well. And of course, it's about enhancing and modernising the existing building as well and bringing it up to the highest standards. And, you know, this is a big milestone. Do you know, in the history of sort of something like the hospice, you know, you start with it being established and then there's another one. And this is going to be a big one in its history, isn't it?
Yeah, we started off with home care, Greg, and there was just one nurse to do with the home care. And then we kept the home care going, and then we decided then to build the building that we're in now. And it's open 21 years now, just and coming up in March. And then, but we still have our 7 clinical nurse specialists in the community. Mm-hmm. We still keep the home care service going, and you know, as well as doing this new build, we still have to keep the funds going for that, and we still look after the children, night nursing, children with life-limiting conditions for night nursing and day nursing, and we've done that for the past 15 years. So we still need to keep all our services running, if you know what I mean.
Which means there needs to be sort of a continuing fundraising drive.
We're always going to be fundraising.
Yeah, exactly. And people do their own things and what have you. And an important part of that runs through June. That's Drive for June. Now, it's heading into its 3rd year now.
Yes.
Year 1 was unbelievable.
Year 1 was 55.
You mentioned a figure.
Year 2 was 120.
And year 3?
202,000.
I mean, this is remarkable, the generosity of people, isn't it?
Yeah. In fairness, I do start torturing everybody in January, you know, making them aware of it and all that. But, you know, something, even to do with the new build, the people of Donegal are so generous to Donegal Hospice. We go out there, Greg, we don't have to ask people. They're coming forward to you. But it's not even the people of Donegal. It's the people of Ireland, and it's the people that's abroad. They haven't forgot the roots. They haven't forgot Donegal Hospice. You know, like if there's a family member in with us and they pass away, or even in for respite, the people are so good to us. They never forget us.
But that's a testimony to the experience that people have.
That's right.
You know, because you talked a little earlier on, and I saw the language you used about talking about the future. And I think you sort of says, unfortunately, and I'm not pulling you up on that, but the experience is the experience is a mix of emotions. Yeah. Because obviously it's at a really difficult time in people's lives and the person's lives. But also, time and time again, you hear that it makes that very, and I've said these exact words in this show before, it makes that very difficult time more manageable, either in the moment or after the fact as well. And you know, so I think it's a great thing that we all have to die, unfortunately. And for some of us, we'll need the care of the Donegal Hospice, and it's just good that it's there.
Yeah, and the respite.
And
the fact that you know, for the other lifeline
and all
conditions.
the other stuff that it does, the night nursing, it's a remarkable thing. It's a remarkable thing for the people you care for and their families. So Jive for June, I remember the first one, it was like, wow, 55, amazing. Then circa 125, then over 200 in the third
202,000,
which is absolutely unbelievable. And so now plans are, well, knowing you.
I haven't spoke to Fionnuala yet.
No, don't worry about Fionnuala. We'll sort Fionnuala out. You don't worry about her.
I haven't spoke to her yet, or
so
David.
we're launching kind of, I love this. So you're kind of semi-soft launching Jive for June. We kind of haven't really run it past Fionnuala and David yet.
No.
Perfect. That's what I love. Let's see them back out of it now.
Not really. But anyway, I did talk to David after last year. Yeah. But now just looking at their nice wee bit of line dancing and all that on and the thing, they'll be there.
That song's going to feature.
No, I just want to thank Highland Radio for all their help and support. in the past and hopefully in the future. And also I want to thank every person that gives €1 to the hospice. I want to thank them because it's so much appreciated.
Yeah.
You know, we wouldn't be there only for the
and it's the
public.
checks. You know what I noticed? Isabel, and we only often see maybe a fraction of it. It's just the wee things that are run all year round and the big checks, and it's like 1,300 or 5,200 or do you know what I mean? And it's all of the time. I mean, obviously you have the sort of the big fundraisers, but it's all the little ones.
That's
and
right.
I say little, it's not really little. The huge in their own right, but it's the collective, and it's just people doing their own thing for their own reasons. But it's all down to the positive sentiment towards the Donegal Hospice.
Yeah, and even with the Jive for June, the children, like some children do trampolines. They can't jive, so they do trampolines. And then the teachers
can't jive, but they still try.
The teachers come on board then, and they do a wee jive at the schools and all before they split up for the summer or whatever. And it's brilliant to get them involved.
Okay, so is there any info you can give about Jive to June yet, or are we just marking people's
we're just marking
calendars
the calendar
to say
there.
It's coming in June?
Yeah, it's coming in June. There is some big fundraisers being held alongside it for it.
Bro.
And that's the normal thing. It wouldn't be as big as it is, Greg, with just jiving.
Of course not.
You know, and people are very shy about doing their jive and coming on board with it, and you know, putting it up on Facebook or whatever. But it's just all a bit of fun, like.
And even if it just inspires them to do something that they're more comfortable with, it doesn't matter. Yeah. As long as it'll be in, it just means June's a big month as well.
Yeah, but it's just such a big year for us. Like, to get that planning through is brilliant, and it's just going to be so good for Donegal Hospice and so good for the service to Donegal people.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, indeed. The tendering process is out there now, and there's some brilliant companies locally that I'm sure will have their pitch in and what have you. Okay, Isabel, it's always a pleasure to have you in.
Thank you so much, Greg.
We look forward to chatting to you between now and June, of course, but just to mark people's calendars to come. I've no doubt Beyonce's new song is going to feature in June heavily, as many others will as well. But for now, Isabel Rogers, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you,
Isabel
Greg.
is chair of the Donegal Hospice, and we're marking the great news that planning permission has been approved for the Donegal Hospice extension, and really quite importantly, the refurbishment. So the entire build, the older part and the newer part, will be up to the highest standards, of course, for care and comfort of patients and their families.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
Choose life. Choose fun. Choose not sitting at home getting bored. Choose something better. Something really fun. Choose Fundamania. Coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl from March 1st. Choose regular, junior or family wristbands and enjoy some of Europe's top thrill rides. Choose fun for all ages. A legendary Fundamania event, 1st to the 17th of March. For details, see fundamania.co.uk.
Mike Denver in concert with guests Declan Ernie and Brendan Shine at Angrinnan Theatre, Letterkenny on Thursday, February 29th. Tickets on sale at Angrinnan Box Office. That's Mike Denver with Declan Ernie and Brendan Shine at Angrinnan Theatre, Letterkenny on Thursday, February 29th. Don't miss a great concert.
On March 8th, we'll be asked to vote in 2 referendums. The first referendum is about how our Constitution recognises families, and the second proposes to replace existing wording with new text to provide recognition for care within families. Find out more in the booklet delivered to your home, or see electoralcommission.ie/referendums. Your vote is your voice, so be a voter on Friday, March 8th from Uncommission Thaucon, Ireland's Independent Electoral Commission.
Big screen musical season is here at Century Cinemas, with classic musicals like Kinky Boots and The Titanic coming to the big screen for limited dates only. For movie dates and more information, visit our website at centurycinemas.ie or call 074 9121976.
Looking for that Hoka experience? Try the new range at bmcsports.ie. New Arahi 7, Clifton 9, or the Eversoft Bondi 8. Step into our safe size experience so you can fit the best trainer for your foot. Let us make your trainer experience the best it can be. Brian McCormick Sports, Main Street, Letterkenny.
Don't miss the BAFTA award-winning comedian Michael McIntyre's brand new show, Magnificent, at the SSC Arena Belfast on Friday the 31st of May 2024. more. As always, Highland Radio make it easy for you as we look after all your needs. We will provide luxury transfers, overnight stay at the Clayton Hotel Belfast on a B&B basis, your ticket to the show, shopping time in Belfast City Centre. For more information, go to the outlet at highlandradio.com or give us a call on 074 91 25,000. Michael McIntyre in Belfast.
And that stops very quickly, doesn't it? You're very welcome back to the programme. We're joined on the show now by Dr. Gail Cummins, Department of Nursing and Healthcare at the ATU Donegal, and Ms. Mary Dunyan, Department of Nursing and Healthcare at ATU Donegal as well. Both of you, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Greg, and thanks very much for having us.
No, it's
a fantastic
our pleasure.
Opportunity.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great to be able to speak to you. Right, so we're speaking about some advice and tests for farmers. We're going to come up to that. But am I correct in saying that's part of End to Tour Week, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, running from the 26th of Feb to the 1st of March? Gail, do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, so we were absolutely delighted to receive news just before Christmas to say that we had been successful in winning funding to run 2 End Tutor events on campus this week as part of the National Week. So these are being run by the Department of Nursing and Healthcare at ATU Donegal. And the first event, which is running today, is our Research Festival event. And as we speak, we have 4 expert guest lecturers in delivering workshops on all things research, from qualitative and quantitative data analysis to writing a lit review to intro to research methods and processes. So we've those 4 workshops going on. In the afternoon, then we have a research competition where anyone who is registered with the Departments of Nursing right across the 3 campuses, should I say, whether it's ATU Donegal, ATU Mayo or ATU St Angela's, can enter a competition, and they will pitch to a panel of judges about ideas on how to meet the challenges that we're presented with in nursing and healthcare at the moment from a research perspective. And then in the afternoon, we'll have our prize giving, and that'll be followed by guest speakers. So Dr. Louise McBride, who's our head of department, and her team will talk about the iSwap, the Student Mental Health and Wellbeing Programme. And that'll be followed by Dr. Mick McCann, who's going to talk about research and in nursing and healthcare right across our campuses. So fantastic lineup for everyone. And I suppose the thing that's so special about today is that, as I mentioned, we have representatives from the 3 departments of nursing in ATU. So we've representatives from ATU Mayo down with us. A coach load of students just arrived there about half an hour ago. We have representatives from ATU St Angela's as well. So we're delighted. It's very special to have that opportunity.
And that first event is for students really and people associated with ATU.
That's right. Yeah, but we've left it open. Anyone could have registered for the link. So it's primarily about research in nursing and healthcare, and that's running today. And it's we're very thankful to End Tutor. And for anyone that doesn't know what End Tutor is, it's I suppose a national program which is run in the technological sector to really promote the student learning experience, to transform it. And it's also about staff development too. So that's our first event. That's running today. Yeah. It's running until 5:30. For anyone who'd like to come in and join us, you're more than welcome. And then the second event, we are heading out. Mary and I are heading out.
We'll get to that in a moment, though, just because I just want to recognise, if that's okay, the importance of sort of research as part of health. And we do quite a lot of that in this area as well. I'm thinking of stuff that I'm aware of, and there's much more in terms of breast cancer. But there's also other studies that Letterkenny University Hospital has been very involved in terms of patients' pathway. And I know maybe I'm not an expert in this area, but it's all part of healthcare, but not necessarily what we as the general population would see as part of it. So I imagine, it's critical that we have the creative juices flowing with the next crop of medical professionals to focus on all elements of healthcare.
Absolutely. And I suppose right from when the student comes in on day one, we as lecturers, we talk about the importance of research in healthcare. We talk about the importance of evidence-based practice, and we practice what we preach, because the Department of Nursing actually has a very strong, research track record in terms of the student mental health and well-being and so on. And we have the Masters in Advanced Health and Social Care and the Masters in Therapeutic Interventions for Alcohol and Other Drugs. So there's a lot of research that goes on. So it's really important to have days like today where we actually get get to celebrate ATU's, the Department of Nurses, strong research track record. And as you said, an opportunity to sit down over a cup of coffee and talk about what's next on the agenda in terms of research and development.
Yeah, for sure. And for the students, some of the people you've got speaking, they're heroes, if you know what I mean, from a career perspective. Now, the second event we're talking about, which I cut you off as you were just flowing into it, is reaching out to farmers really with health advice and tests, primarily probably fellas. And we do know, and I'm not going to get shot for saying this because we were speaking to an amazing lady a little earlier on who went through a diagnostic process, and it's her determination and drive that it hopefully is going to lead to a perfect outcome for her. But I think sometimes maybe fellas are not as good at checking on themselves and their health, and certainly even if they have their suspicions, then not progressing that or taking that to the next level for a myriad of reasons. Mostly we invent them, if the truth be told, to avoid it. Mary, do you want to talk about this initiative that's upcoming?
Yes, thanks, Greg. I suppose I agree with what you're saying. I think farmers are great at looking after their animals and looking after the land, but when it comes to themselves, they're really not as good. And the research does show that. You're talking about the researcher Gales there saying about studies, and there was a recent study done and was saying over a half of the farming population that were researched had high blood pressure, and 1 in 5 of us are going to have a stroke. So it's great to get the opportunity now on Thursday to go out to Reform Mart and to be able to, we're going to do 3 different tests. We're going to do a blood pressure, and we're going to record the heart rate, and we're going to record the BMI, which is your body mass index, and looking at your height and your weight and seeing if you're sort of within the normal levels or not. And for most people who have high blood pressure, unfortunately there's no signs and symptoms, Greg. The first sign that you might have is that you've had a stroke. So if you're lucky, you'll have a headache, or you'll have maybe a nosebleed, or you might feel dizzy or unwell. But for many people, there is just no signs and symptoms. So it is one of the modifiable diseases that we can manage.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Because again, it kind of goes back to that research word. There's there's not as many as we'd hope of things that can really have a strong impact on our health, but we actually can really quite successfully manage.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what we're hoping to do on Thursday, is just to do the wee check. There's no needles, there's no nothing involved. Because I know men don't like needles, a lot of them, and women.
We don't mind shoving our hands up a cow, but don't come near us with a needle. Do you know what I mean? You try and figure that one out.
So it's just checking blood pressure, as I say, and checking heart rate. So we're going to use the manual method because we want to pick up any arrhythmias or any irregularities, because again, that's another big cause of stroke is if you have an irregular heartbeat and maybe atrial fibrillation. So even by checking someone's pulse and checking the blood pressure and doing it the old-fashioned way rather than using the machine, you're able to pick up if there is any sort of abnormalities in that there. We'll be giving a wee bit of advice then. So as you say, it's one of the things that we can do something about. So if it's really high, we'll hold on to you, we'll check it again, and then we can refer you maybe on then to your GP, give you advice just about, and everything is linked, between your blood pressure, your diet, your stress levels. And as farmers, we do know it's a stressful environment, and it's they're under a lot of pressure, that it's long hours, it's not Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So there is a lot of pressures there, but it is really important. I mean, the guidelines say that once you're over 40, that you really should have your blood pressure checked, even yearly. Even under that, they say, the Irish Heart Foundation say every 5 years from 18 up to that. But then once you come to 40, even yearly. So this is free. It's it's a great opportunity for people to get their blood. If you're in around Raphoe on Thursday, come down to us in Raphoe Mart and get your blood pressure checked.
Yeah, we need a couple of brave souls to show the way too here, because we don't want it to be like, you used to have a 10-foot no-go zone around you as you walk around the place. So we need a few brave souls. And I know myself as and the reason I feel comfortable to speak about it is I'm still not fully there yet, but I am someone that would spend an awful lot of time of thinking of reasons not to go and get something as simple as blood pressure checked, right? But at the end of the day, these things are incredibly manageable. And if you know, as you say, well, not as you say, but, you know, these are people that are carers. They care for their animals. They're very proud of that as well. But, you know, if you're driving your tractor to and from a field or what have you, and it just wasn't running quite right, you would get it to the mechanic and get it checked out, and they would work their wonders, and then you'd have, you know, the summer of happy driving. Why not do the same for yourself, really effectively?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it. And we often would say to our students, you know, it's like, if you can, it's prevention really, it's not the cure, you know, prevention's far easier. So we teach a program here in the college, and it's making every contact count. So it's every time we talk to people or patients, it's just trying to get that message across, and just to try to prevent something from happening, because as we know, like heart, you know, whether it's, you know, and I suppose the effects of high blood pressure is you can have a heart attack, you can have a stroke, you can have eye disease, kidney disease. So if you can stop that from happening, you know, and people are living longer, and that's what it's all about. It's about healthy aging, and especially when people are working for themselves, that they can work longer as well.
Exactly.
And it's devastating. I mean, we've looked after so many people, you know, from the hospital, and our students that are coming out with us, they've had experience of that as well. And it's just life-changing when they have either a heart attack or they have a stroke. And you're right in what you're saying, Greg. Like, we've done this before. Like, we've been over the different marts, and we're actually doing an event down in the Courtyard Shopping Centre now in April as well. And people are afraid to come. They say, "Oh, I don't want to know." And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, but they say, well, this is what I would have done. Yeah, but I've been walking around all day, so of course my blood pressure is going to be high and my pulse is going to be up. You know, so I mean, this is not, but that they've no intention of relaxing and sitting down and going to the GP the next day. That's just an excuse not to do it there and then. Right, listen, I know you're very busy with everything that's going on today, the event that is today, but you are in the Mart in Rafo with some health advice and some tests promoting the importance of health and well-being of farmers too. And you know, you correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Dunyan, but you know, there's an aggregate effect as well too, with walking around with high blood pressure for quite some time. The sooner you get it under control, the better, because obviously, you know, you want your heart to last as long as is possible. So that presumably means having it operating within, you know, acceptable boundaries for longer. That's better for you effectively. So the sooner you get on top of something, the better.
Absolutely. And that's what I was saying, Greg, before there. Like, they used to always say hypertension was like the silent killer, because there was no signs and symptoms. So if you're walking around for maybe 5-10 years, hadn't had your blood pressure checked, your arteries and your wee capillaries and the wee blood vessels and the kidneys and then the eyes, I mean, they can be great. And obviously then your heart as well, those bigger blood vessels, like, they can be badly damaged, you know. So that's what, it's just early intervention, and it's all about prevention and the sort of healthy aging.
All right, lads and lassies, Thursday the 29th of February, 3 nursing students will provide a range of those checks that we've mentioned for farmers at the Mart in Rafo. Anything you want to add, Dr. Gail Cummings, before I wrap up?
Yeah, no, I just want to thank all of our nursing students from across the 3 programmes here in ATU Donegal: general nursing, mental health nursing and intellectual disability nursing. And we actually have 20 nursing students from year 3 across those 3 programmes who actually have given their time. You know, they've volunteered to do this with Mary and I. So thank you to all those students. And we will stand out. You will see us a mile off, because we have fabulous orange tops on the day. You know, so there'll be... no worries about not finding where we are.
So you're really getting rid of all the excuses, aren't you? It's all right. Dr. Gail Cummings, Department of Nursing and Healthcare at ATU, from the same department, Ms. Mary Dunyan. Both of you, thank you so very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's been lovely having you on the programme. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, Theo.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com.
Choose life. Choose fun. Choose not sitting at home getting bored. Choose something better. Something really fun. Choose Fundamania. Coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl from March 1st. Choose regular, junior or family wristbands and enjoy some of Europe's top thrill rides. Choose fun for all ages. A legendary Fundamania event, 1st to the 17th of March. For details, see fundamania.co.uk.
At Lidl, we've dropped the prices of over 600 products, so you save on essentials like shower gels, Irish chicken breast fillets and fusilli pasta. That lowers the price of a whole trolley from €87.01 to €71.94. That's like €15 back in your pocket. That's even more reasons to go full Lidl today. For full list of products, see Lidl.ie/price drops.
PDO thread lifts and skin boosters, which rejuvenate the skin by improving facial contours, lifting and tightening the jowls, neck, cheeks and eyebrows, are available at Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic, Gweedore. To choose the right aesthetic treatment for you, contact Mary Ferry, your aesthetic practitioner. Also offering fat-dissolving treatments, dermal fillers and laser treatments for all skin conditions. Hair and makeup packages also available. Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic, Gweedore. 07495 325 75.
If you aren't quite ready to drive a full EV, you'll be going in the right direction with the Mazda CX-5. This SUV comes with fuel-saving Mazda M hybrid technology and a 6-year warranty you'll find across the entire Mazda range. Test drive the 241 Mazda range at McGinley Motors Mazda, Letterkenny. Mazda, crafted in Japan.
SEAI is delighted to announce the return of the Zevi EV Dealership of the Year Awards. And this year's Ulster winner is Connolly's Volkswagen, Letterkenny. To learn more about the awards and EV grants, visit seai.ie, supported by the Government of Ireland.
I have exciting news to share at Mulford Tiles. We have prices beyond compare. Tiles as low as $13.99 a yard. Yes, they're really cheap. Transform your space without making your wallet weep. Laminate floor, no so neat, starting from just $10.99 a yard. Sure, we can't be beat. If you need bathware, don't you fret. With reduced prices, you won't regret. Sure, where would you get it? Mulford Tiles and Mulford Retail Park. We are open Monday to Friday 9:30 to 5 and Saturday 10 to 4. You can call us on 083 091 0707.
We were speaking to, I thought it was a really quite an important conversation with Marie in the second hour of the show just before 11 o'clock about her experience of having an issue with her left breast, and she went to the hospital. Really remarkable story, and she had 3 tests on the day, was told everything looked good. A week later, she was told that there had been issues with testing her tissue sample, but that they had enough tissue to retest it and that everything was okay. So she went home. And something wasn't right. She went back to her GP. The GP said, look, you should always get a second opinion. And she went to Galway. She had to go private. And as it turned out, she did have breast cancer in her left breast and also an issue in her right breast, which wouldn't have been, neither would have been discovered if she hadn't have gone forward and trusted her gut. Now, you'd hope that that's a very rare experience, but unfortunately, quite a few of you seem to be able to identify with her, as does this listener. I can identify with Marie, had tests, scans and a biopsy done to be told it was okay, then to be contacted afterwards to be told I had stage 4 cancer. It's hard to have any confidence in them, says the caller. What a brave lady. I wish her all the best for the future. God bless, indeed. We join you in those sentiments. Rosemary on Facebook, I feel sorry for that lady who was on about being misdiagnosed with cancer or not diagnosed. As I'm going through that now between Sligo and Galway hospitals, I have cancer again, but they can't find out where it is. And I have had CT scans and an MRI scan and biopsies. The problem might be, says the listener, that she is full of radiotherapy that she received 12 years ago for cancer. My mum spent her last 5 weeks at the hospice last July. She was so happy there. Isabel was so helpful, and those nurses are human angels. It's an unreal place. Councillor Kevin Bradley, the Mayor of Letterkenny, has been on to wish the hospice all the best with their building plans. Isabel and their team are doing a fantastic job. Back to Marie. Fair play to Marie for sharing her story. It's terrible what happened to her. The least any woman deserves is to get the right results. It's a long enough journey. And I'm jumping between the hospice and Marie's story. I'm delighted to hear that the hospice got their planning and hope that all Donegal gets behind them to fundraise. That comes in from Rose. And Rose, yes, continues to. The generosity of the Donegal public towards the hospice is unmatched. Now, I want to mention to you that Ours to Protect is coming up later on. during John Breslin's show, and we are going to learn how we can hold onto our stuff for longer. Isn't this sort of to do with the circular economy? Well, Donna Marie Doherty speaks to Caroline McGuinness Brooks from Foyle Repair Cafe about their monthly pop-up events in Strabane and Derry, and Joanne Butler from the Donegal Community Gardens as they put the wheels in motion to start a repair cafe in Donegal. And we're moving back to repairing stuff, which is good. Washing machines, dishwashers, things like that became unrepairable for a while because you couldn't get parts for them. But thanks to sort of the promotion of a circular economy, we're seeing parts becoming available for them all readily again. If a stranger comes up to your door, why not ask them to stand as you take their photo and car registration number before engaging with them? It's a big old ask, that. I know what you're saying. It's probably good advice. I just couldn't see myself doing it. Now, last chance to enter our competition today. This week on the show, thanks to our friends at Fundamania Fairground, which is coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl in Derry, Londonderry, from the 1st of March till the 17th of March. We're giving you the chance to win incredible family passes for a day of unlimited fun and excitement. We're giving away 2 passes every day this week, and to be in with a chance of winning this fantastic prize today, simply answer this question. What town in Donegal am I talking about? Here are 3 clues. Harvest Fair, Valley's End, Heritage Club. Text your answer, your name and where you're from, or WhatsApp it to 086 60 25,000. 2 of you will win family passes for a day of unlimited fun there. So you're going to, if you win or if you go, feel the rush on the Apple roller coaster, spin till you're dizzy on the cups and navigate through the chaos in the bumping cars. That's not all, though. You can dive into a sea of excitement with the Sea Storm, test your aim at the water gun game, and let your taste buds dance with delight with our mouth-watering hot food and sweet treats. Tough for me to read that last bit because I have yet to break my fast. All right, good luck if you're entering. I'll give the lines about 5 minutes and we'll announce 2 winners before the end of the show. 2 family passes, which will be great fun. All-day passes there are as well. Rose on Facebook, Greg, great to hear the planning is granted for Donegal Hospice Extension. We all need to get funding now to help get this complete. I've been fundraising for quite a while and they need all our help. Not many families haven't been affected by cancer, unfortunately, indeed. And it's one of those things. It's unfortunate that either many of us have experience of the hospice, but then again, it's a positive thing through a difficult time, or it might be on the horizon for us. You just never know with these things.
Choose life. Choose fun. Choose not sitting at home getting bored. Choose something better. Something really fun. Choose Fundamania. Coming to the Brunswick Movie Bowl from March 1st. Choose regular, junior or family wristbands and enjoy some of Europe's top thrill rides. Choose fun for all ages. A legendary Fundamania event, 1st to the 17th of March. For details, see fundamania.co.uk.
Join the multi-award-winning Patrick Feeney and his band for his country and gospel show at the Millennium Forum Derry on Sunday, 10th of March. Tickets are now on sale from the Millennium Forum box office. Telephone 04871 264455 or book online at www.millenniumforum.co.uk.
Do you need a UK address? Save hundreds of euros on custom charges shopping online with Space Hub Dairy. We provide a full virtual address mailbox service for all your business and personal use. Save hundreds, possibly thousands, on custom charges with Space Hub Dairy. Call 048 71 87 8077 or online spacehubdairy.com for more details.
At Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, we know a good pair of trainers makes all the difference. Whether you're running marathons or training for your first 5K, we stock all the leading brands, including Asics, Brooks and New Balance, with different styles and features to suit individual running needs. Call in store or shop online at michaelmurphysports.ie.
Bei ina breisiid has agus áilina ETB Gunanal ar siúl an headain agus an Jardín seo thugain san Ostan Radisson Blue leisure canning. Bei tróna de ceadain ón seart go ddínaí dírithe ar realtaí artiste ar a dismathirí agus áthúisiúd a tá fástaithe a tá geirí uasálainse dhéanú agus bei canseanna ar thuirsaí agus ar frontí seachtaí ar siúl. Bei Jardín an fihanníú ón 10 go ddín dó dírithe ar dainir bí a bhfuil samacu in Idehas Lán Amstre agus Páirt Amstre nó in Yeisina Álainne. Hen Timacht Sir Nashki Shaw Forfa chun Olas a El ar na Ré na Eigsala a Terfuel ag Bord Edgehas agus Olina Winanal ar Fod and Hyundai.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by Grant. Building a new home? Choose Grant's A++ rated Airona air-to-water heat pump and Uflex underfloor heating. Visit grant.ie.
Well, scattered showers and sunny spells this afternoon. Highest temperatures 8 to 10 degrees in moderate to fresh southwest winds easing, but veering northwesterly towards evening. Now, dry to start tonight with clear spells. Cloud will thicken from the west overnight with outbreaks of rain and patchy mist developing towards morning. Cold at first with lowest temperatures of 2 to 4 degrees, but those temperatures will rise as southerly winds increase moderate to fresh. Dr. Andrea Redmond is of the Cumann Fóbaha na Dúchairí. That's the Dúchairí Development Group Tidy Towns, and is on with us now. Good morning, Andrea. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm good, and it's great to speak to you. Right, now, the Tidy Towns Committee is putting out a call to all politicians, whatever the political party they're involved in or none. You're asking them to refrain from sticking up election posters or any material, really, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me.
We are, Greg, and this isn't punitive. This is something that's been going on in the rest of the country since 2019. And in fact, in the last general election, there were over 100 villages and towns plus that had requested that political parties not put up political paraphernalia in their local towns and villages. And most of the parties acquiesced, and we believe that now with the county council elections coming, that the numbers were double and triple. And we've done this, as I said, it's not punitive. We appreciate so much what the Glenty councillors have done for us in Dury, but we really see this as, posters themselves are not biodegradable, neither are the cable ties. We really feel with the advent of social media, with the likes of yourselves and the newspaper coverage, the posters are irrelevant and maybe a bit of an added expense. We think sometimes the age-old way of knocking on the door, shaking the constituents' hands and talking to them about what the issues is perhaps one of the most important things. And we've actually invited the councillors to all the social events that we'll be having. For example, this Saturday at 4 p.m. at the Corkscrew, we're launching a new sculpture. We've invited all the councillors to that, and everybody else is welcome. So, Greg, there's a lot of reasons, distraction to motorists, again, litter. There's an issue with tidy towns as it's the competition. A lot of areas found that they lost points because of the displays. And, we're in Tidy Towns Dury to win and watch the space. And so we're really concerned about kind of the overusage of political posters. I mean, obviously, we're not here to debate the rights and wrongs of postering, but there are those that feel that, you talk of the Glenty's councillors, those that are already in the seats, that this kind of gives them advantage. Posters have been shown to work for new candidates, new voices, new people on the political scene. Can you allow yourself to have sympathy for them that in this area that they may be disadvantaged, that, others have had sort of 5 years of exposure and publicity, and it's not really fair to exclude, particularly, I think, for the newer, maybe lesser known candidates to get their face out there? Well, they're not going to be excluded because we're only asking them in, a short geographic area. So there's lots of other areas, and excuse the dogs in the background. That's all right. They're also the use of social media. They're, they're in the newspapers. I get you. They spend plenty of money on newspaper articles. 100%. And really, let's stop and think about it. Sometimes the displays are too much, and I always think about topping the poll. Yourself, somebody will put a poster in a poll, then the other party will decide, and at the end of the day, it's over. Of course, and then you'll get posters that block lines of sight on roadways, and 100%. There's been fisticuffs at certain junctions almost over the positioning of posters. Okay, not in your area, or I'm not mentioning a particular area. So can I make a point, Dr. Andrew? Greg, can I make a point? You can't make a political point with a poster. A poster is a mugshot. The best way for a new candidate to make an impact is come and talk to your constituents. Wrap the door, introduce yourself, come to a social occasion. The parties have all been invited to this Saturday. That is the way to meet people on the ground, to meet them in the supermarkets and talk to them. You know, and this is what I'm saying. You can look at a poster. They're lovely, you know, lovely-looking individuals. But that doesn't say anything to me about what their stance are on different issues.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Right, just for the avoidance of doubt, you talked it being a small geographical area. What is that area?
Well, basically the village itself, but we start kind of on the Marv. You know, we're a beauty spot. We're an absolutely beautiful area. And we don't want it. Yeah, we are. And we don't want it. Blatant is the wrong word, but we don't want an overindulgence of political paraphernalia and posters. So the start of Owen the Marv, the village, you know, going up to past Lochbarra, you know, but there's loads of places, the junctions into areas that they could put posters and away they go. And we wish them all good luck on the hustings, and we hope for dry weather, and we'd like to see a lot of them in the community rapping the doors and having a chat with them.
Okay, lovely stuff. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Andrea Redmond there. I wonder what many areas around Donegal follow suit. Just to mention our two winners today of family passes for Fundamania in Derry, and both come from Glenties, such as the randomness of the draw. Both from Glenties. Mary McGroarty in... Sorry, they're not both from Glenties. The answer was Glenties. Okay. Of course the answer was Glenties. They're from nowhere near Glenties, as it turns out. Mary McGroarty is in Kilmacrennan. Well done to you, Mary. We'll get those out to you. And Mary Shields is in Fanad as well. So Mary Shields, the answer was Glenties. Am I losing the plot finally? Some would say I lost it a long time ago. Just a couple of updates in relation to inquiries we've been making on behalf of listeners or organisations. So we went back to the HSE again looking for a spokesperson on services at St. Joseph's. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get a spokesperson, but we got further clarification, because there was some concern amongst GPs as to where physiotherapy might be provided. And we're being told now that physiotherapy will be provided for the patients within the clinical ward area in St. Joseph's Hospital. Patients will still be seen by the physiotherapy team as per normal standard practice, with new referrals being added to the urgent and routine waiting lists as they come into the service. I can't help but feel an awful lot of this could have been avoided with the situation being properly laid out right from the very beginning. Do you remember we were chatting to the son of a woman who was left in Monaghan? And it was an interesting story in that it's not the first time she's had issues with bus iron. But anyway, in a nutshell, she was coming back from Dublin to Donegal for treatment, hospital treatment. This is a woman who was 81, if my memory serves me correctly. The bus stopped at Monaghan, and she hopped off the bus for a bathroom break. The bus only stayed for 3 or 4 minutes and left without her. She was abandoned. She was left in Monaghan. Now, we spoke to other people that were on that bus, and they said that the driver said he was tight for time. It was only a 3 or 4 minute stop. Wouldn't let some people off as that 3 or 4 minutes was eaten into. Bibbed the horn before he left. But anyway, one way or other, it's not a satisfactory situation. The bus Aaron says, we are very sorry to hear of the customer's experience and disappointment, and are disappointed to learn that it wasn't up to bus Aaron's usual high standards. We treat all complaints very seriously, and once the complaint came into us, our customer care team responded to this issue in a timely manner. We have highlighted the issue to the driver and all relevant departments, and hope to see the customer on board our services again very soon. On this occasion, our driver announced to the passengers on board the service that he was reducing the layover time in Monaghan bus station due to being slightly delayed en route. This practice is carried out at the discretion of our drivers when required to keep the services on schedule. But then, what bus Aaron need to do is talk, like for some people, right, they might not get this bus from Donegal to Dublin to Donegal. We're all different, and some people need that time, the 10 to 15 minutes, to go to the bathroom because they've drank too much water, because of a medical condition. To leave it where it's at the discretion of the driver, so it could be 3 or 4 minutes, or it could be the 10 or 15 minutes because you get delayed, I'm not really sure. I think Bus Éireann are acknowledging really perhaps a fault in the system. You know, you do need to go to the bathroom. Lots of people need to go to the bathroom, and they're effectively saying that it's up to the driver, really. It can be 2 minutes, it can be 10 minutes, it can be 15 minutes. I'm not really satisfied with that answer. I appreciate Bus Éireann getting back in touch with us, but it doesn't fix the problem. that some people, for medical reasons and for not medical reasons, sometimes need to use that 10 minutes that's supposed to be there as a toilet break. Let me see. I'd be grateful if you could possibly highlight something. The road from Trenta to Kilmacrennan is in a terrible state of repair, in particular the road around Teases. There are no warning signs or cones re the uneven service, large potholes and flooding. There's going to be an accident on this piece of road. And we had a listener on last week talking about this very stretch of road. I don't have the picture available to for those of you who are watching the show, available on the computer, but I can show you. Look at the state of that road. I'll try and describe it to those who are listening on the radio. It's crap. There you go. You wouldn't drive a 4x4 through it, let alone a car. We're going to make an inquiry in relation to that. The road at the top of Glencar heading towards Trenta is in bad need of repair. Great country, this. We pay road tax for the upkeep of roads, and the council decides to spend our money for bicycle lanes who don't contribute anything wonderful. We see the problem is road tax money is that's kind of the water money, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I take your point. Why do farmers on the Corravady Glenotty Road not clean up after themselves? Is there a law that would keep this road clean? It's so mucky and horrible to walk on, and the woods are so beautiful, says a listener there. And on it goes. Right, thank you so much to all of you listening to the show today. We really do appreciate it, especially those of you, or not especially, but we extra appreciate those of you who text in. We read all the texts, all the emails. We get to the majority of them on the day. If not, we carry them over. They're all read and all appreciated. Thank you very much. We're back for Wednesday's show tomorrow morning at 9. But for me, Greg Hughes and the team, have a wonderful Tuesday. And stay tuned because John Breslin is coming up around the Northwest.